All right. Welcome to the SOSCAST on Valuetainment, the sexiest financial podcast in the world. This is where finance meets romance, and today we're going to get some spicy stuff coming your way. If you don't know, now you know. My name is Adam Sosnick. You can call me Saez. And Nalia and I are here for one reason and one reason only. We want to see you people out there get paid, get laid, and do it your way. So what we do is we bring the best of the best from east to west on the show to have open dialogue, discussions, sometimes debates about what's going on in the world of lifestyle, relationships, money, culture, all that fun stuff. So let's meet our guest today, the best looking human highlighter I know. Welcome from New York down to Florida, official, living in my old building. Brandon Carter, you know him as King Keto, all over the gram, all over YouTube. Coach, CEO, trainer, motivational speaker, and just one badass motherfucking dude. Welcome to the show, Brandon.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man. It's great to be here. I'm a big fan. I had some friends who've been on the show, so it's excited. I'm excited to get the invite.
Thank you. To your right, my left, Amanda Saez.
Hi.
She was one of the lovely ladies, models that we met at Model Volleyball a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
And she's a Bang model as well. She's drinking her Bang. This episode is sponsored by Bang. Hopefully you guys either drink it or do it in your off time. But welcome to the show. First timer. And another first timer, Angela Knight. She's been all over the internet lately. You're on the Whatever podcast. Were you on Fresh and Fit recently as well?
Not recently, but I did.
Not recently. You're on Fresh and Fit. Relationship coach,
Yes.
Influencer, nail salon owner, and recently moved from Tampa to Miami. Right? So we're going to hear a lot from you today. And last but not least, my co-host, the baddie with a Jamaican patty in her hand, Natalia Del Valle in the house. Before we get started, Nat, why don't you introduce yourself, what people got to know, and we'll get right into all the topics today.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for being patient and joining us today. We appreciate it. Thank you all. Before we get started, make sure you guys like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel. We have a lot of exciting things coming in the future, as well as today. Today's topics are going to be very, very spicy. So I'm really excited to get started. Thank you all for joining us today. And Mr. Sauceman, if you don't
Thank you. And as Nat always says, if you've watched the show more than twice,
Don't do it.
and you don't subscribe or give us a like, your mama, she a hoe. That's what Nat says, not me.
I didn't
would
say
never
that.
call your mama a hoe. Brandon,
I believe that. No, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, of course.
I think there's been some studies on that.
It's free content out there. All we're asking is for one of these. Boom, so go ahead and hit that right now. So more people like you, like-minded people like you, can enjoy this type of content. So here's some of the topics we're going to be discussing today. Open for discussion and debate. Do good-looking people make more money? We have a very good-looking panel, so we'll get the answer to that. The famous phrase, my money is our money, or as a woman says, my money is my money, but your money is our money. Nat, you got some questions on that. I know that you've said mo money, mo problems. Not really, Biggie.
Yeah.
I know you have some disagreements with...
I disagree with Biggie on that.
You disagree with Biggie on that, so we'll discuss that a little bit.
Me and Biggie don't agree on everything.
Okay. Yeah, you can't. We're going to have a deep discussion on what's going on in trans sports, everything with that. That's the female Jordan Peterson right here has some strong feelings on that. Jorge, turn me up just a tad. We'll get into a deep discussion on that. We have a lot of clips we want to react on that. You are a model. How familiar are you with AI coming to take your job? We're going to discuss that.
I did hear that.
So we'll talk about getting married versus just wanting a ring, the difference with that. And then traditional women, modern women, and all those deep discussions right there. So let's get this party started. So here's the first topic. So is there a correlation between how good you look and how much money you make? Well, it turns out the answer is yes. Let me get you some stats for you. Good-looking people get hired faster, they make more in sales, and they earn $230,000 more over their lifetime on average. So it pays to look good. Here's some more stats. Better-looking professors are more appreciated by their students. We've all had that hot teacher where you're like, yeah, whatever you say, whatever homework you got, I'm all in. All right, cool, you're doing your homework. Even white-collar criminals are more successful if they're better-looking. We all remember the Tinder swindler. So if you want to make more, you want to get paid, you want to get laid, clean it up, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Get your best going. So let me start with you, Brandon. You're a good-looking dude, fit dude. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's, as a man, heterosexual man that likes women, I could say, all right, that guy's a stud right there. How has looking good and feeling good enhanced your career?
Especially as it pertains to social media, you're going to just get more exposure, right? So, like I've been able to build a pretty big following on social media, and I know that, especially in fitness, right, how you look, it plays a huge role. It's probably the biggest thing. And then the information you have probably comes second, And yeah, I mean, I don't think this is up for debate. Like the better people look, the more successful they're going to be in all areas of life. There's a study in that's referencing Influence by Robert Cialdini, where there were some criminals who were up for parole, and they gave half of them like rehabilitation, right, and they gave half of them like plastic surgery, right, and then the people who had plastic surgery, now they all went and did crimes again, right, because they're criminals, but
allegedly, allegedly, like they use that word. That's never a good word attached to your name. Allegedly.
And then when they went back to court, the ones who were rehabilitated went to jail more often and got stiffer sentences than the people who had plastic surgery.
This was men or women?
It was men.
And what they did surgery on their face?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes, it's in Influence by Robert Cialdini.
Wow.
It's a
so
whole chapter
even
on
when they redid their face, these criminals, they were able to get off parole or sooner?
Yeah, they had better outcomes in the court system, across the board. And there's a whole chapter on this in particular in that book, Influenced by Robert Cialdini. I think everyone should read it if you're serious about getting money. I read that shit a few times a year, every year.
Really?
Yeah.
Same book,
over and over.
Remix that thing.
Well, you want it to be in it. You want it to be in you, not on you, right? You don't want to just like learn it once. You want to have that shit down. It's like the Bible to me.
Really?
It's
okay.
Real.
The book that I read constantly is How to Win Friends and Influence People, but now I gotta get on that. Joey, pull up that article from the Wall Street Journal, because there's some people out there, some ugly people out there, that are gonna be like, nah, man, I don't think so.
Yeah.
By the way, if you're ugly and you make more money than an average person, you just got skills.
Yeah.
Okay, so there it is.
But they'd make more money if they wasn't ugly, if they stopped being ugly.
Stop being ugly.
Stop
being poor. Stop being ugly.
Just knock it off.
Here's the article from the Wall Street Journal. On the job, beauty is more than skin deep. Most people punch in a little bit. Most people assume that being good looking, punch in, gives you a boost in your career, but just how much does it help? Here's this guy, which arguably not the best looking dude that wrote the article or did this thing. A lot. Good looking people charm interviewers, get hired faster, and are more likely to make sales and more raises. So you're a workout guru.
Yeah.
This is kind of like your thing. Give us some quick tips. So I don't, unless you did some surgery on your face for the gentlemen out there, then we'll turn it over to the ladies. The one thing you can do is improve your body.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, there's this whole conversation about work-life balance.
Mm.
So that's a whole conversation for debate. But where I want to go is like workout life balance. So I'm a busy dude. I try to work out. I try to play basketball. I try to stay in shape. But there's some days where I'm just like, fuck it, dude. Not today. All right, I'm hungover. I'm not going out. I'm going out.
Yeah.
Not today. Give me some quick advice for the busy people out there. Like a 5-minute workout tip, like something's better than nothing. What are some just tidbits? Obviously, if you go to the gym and spend an hour there, that's better. You do that 5-7 days a week. But if you're busy as hell, if you're working and you don't have time to do full-on workouts, what do you advise as far as quick hits to stay in shape?
Well, first of all, your diet's going to play the biggest role, right? You can't out-train a bad diet, but you can out-diet bad training, right? There's been people I've trained who've lost a ton of weight, and like obese motherfuckers, right? We couldn't have them out running miles and shit, right? It would be too difficult on their joints. So I would just have them on a diet, and they would lose a bunch of weight until they got to the point where they can actually really move. But this one guy, man, he was over 300 pounds, and he lost 75 pounds in 75 days.
Wow!
Right? Because when you're obese, you can lose weight faster. Right. Like the fatter you are, the easier it is to lose fat. But getting your diet on point is critical. Right, I would say, man, don't even work out if you're not going to be serious about your diet. You're kind of be wasting your time a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, because
so
if
you can kind of put a balance on it, is it like the 80-20 rule, the Pareto principle, where it's 80% diet, 20% working out? Is it 50-50?
At least.
Really?
At least, but probably more. Like honestly, for the last 10 years, like I'm an extremist. So what I'm about to say is not advice, right? Because not everybody's extreme as me, and most motherfuckers are kind of soft, so they couldn't even fathom this shit. But I keep a scale in my bag. I weigh my food before I eat it, and I track everything I eat like meticulously. I've been doing that for like 10 years, right?
You weigh your food.
Yeah. When I go to restaurants, I'm breaking the shit out at Mastro's.
You're busting out a scale?
Yeah.
People must think you're a drug dealer. It's just like weighing things out constantly.
Yeah, well, they probably think that because of the fucking jewelry. they already thought that before the scale came out. You know, I'm always fucking got the drip on and shit. So I gotta have a drug dealer attire.
Oh.
Anyway, I'm always wearing drug dealer's uniform. I digress. Yeah, the scale doesn't help in that regard.
So diet is more important than working out. Now I'm way more upset with you, Nat.
Yes,
because Nat was gracious enough to pour me a cocktail. I took one sip and I said, "What did you mix this whiskey with?" She's like, "Regular Coke." I said, "Regular Coke? I don't play that game."
Yeah.
Where's the Coke Zero at?
Right.
She's trying to sabotage you. She's trying to be the hottest host.
Just tasted like, what is this? Right when you taste it. So I props to you. I'm sorry.
What's funny is, and then I want to get the ladies' opinion on this. I know like guys in Miami, like successful guys, you know, maybe they're in their 40s or whatever. They marry like a hot Latina girl. It's very common in Miami. We all know that whole thing. Yeah. And the girls are always like, "Here's another cup of rice, honey. Have a little more to drink. Eat some more." They want their husbands to have like a little bit of like a dad bod because they don't want to be hot in them streets.
It's
Is that the reason?
Belly.
Yes, that's what?
It's a wealth belly.
Wealth belly. Okay. Yeah, I have a buddy. His wife is always like, she's very candid about it. She's like, "No, I don't want him to be hot in the streets. Like, I don't want him out there. He needs to eat. I want him to have a belly. He's on mine. I don't want these bitches to touching my man, blah, 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 blah." I was like, "So you want your man to be fat?" She's like, "Yes."
That's an interesting mating strategy. You know, I want to go back to something you said real quick. You said something about plastic surgery, alluding to you can't fix your face. I would disagree with that, right? If you lose fat in your body, you'll lose fat in your face. Yes. And I've seen people's face, their whole facial structure change like dramatically.
Yes.
Just getting their body weight down. Yeah, the cheeks.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. So it all starts with your diet.
Yeah.
And the more you clean it up, the better you eat, the more you stay fit, the more money you make.
Yeah, just burn.
So
you will make more money. You will make more money, and you'll have more energy too, right? Because think about, like, to really make a lot of money, you got to go fucking hard. Right. You need mental energy, physical energy. Your brain uses 20% of your body's calories at rest. So imagine
your brain
if you
uses 20%
of your calories at rest, and it's only 5% of your body mass, right? So
what was that? Why are you hitting me? All right. It's like the scene from Wedding Crashers where he's like, they say we only use 10% of our brain, but I think we only use 10% of our heart. So what if we used 100% of our heart? And she's like, "Oh." Anyway, that works. Anyway, let's ask Amanda a question, because you are a model. So obviously being a model, you have to look good. You have to stay fit. Like looking good is going to get you normal jobs. What I want to ask is about in real life, just looking good, being a hot chick, what doors have opened or what opportunities have arisen just by being a hot girl? Because we've all seen like clubs in Miami where it's like, yeah, you can come in, you can come in, you can come in, but sorry, we're at capacity for your big girlfriend. I'm sorry, I don't know. We're at capacity right now. So what doors has opened for you and your hot girlfriends running around the streets of Miami?
In big cities like Miami, LA, New York, you could pretty much get anything, get away with anything. It's very easy. You could get on any yacht, get in any club, get free food, get free drinks. Everything is free. I mean, you could even get free rent if you wanted to.
How do you get that free rent?
Guys. I mean, it's so easy in Miami.
There's no form of payment for the free rent?
There usually is. But
what's that kind of payment? Not based on experience and what you've heard.
I mean, seekingarrangements.com.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, you find guys. I mean, you don't even have to do that. You just go out, you meet guys. One time I went to a club, and I was newly single. I was heartbroken. I was in a relationship for 12 years. So I didn't know what it was like being single. And I go to a club, and this young guy, he was probably like 25, 26. He goes, "Mommy, let me take you shopping, buy you like a designer bag." And I was like, ew, no. Like, I was confused. I'm originally from New Jersey. So I was offended and confused. But But
So when
now that's
after he
normal.
got finished taking you shopping, what did you do?
I didn't go shopping
No, I'm
with
just
him. I didn't go shopping. I thought that was weird. I was
Yeah.
like, why does this guy want to take me shopping? What does he want from me? You know, I was
And how long you been in Miami?
Now 3 years. Back then I was
but
like a year.
You lived in Jersey your whole life.
Yeah.
Does that type of stuff exist in New
No.
Jersey? What about New York City? Do you ever have you ever experienced this kind of stuff?
I haven't really partied in New York City that much. Back then I didn't really, I mean, just maybe once or twice, but that stuff
So you're
doesn't
basically
exist
saying
yet.
here or in big cities, as you established,
Yeah.
if you're a hot girl, the world's your oyster. You can get pretty
Yes.
much anything you want for free.
Anything.
There's no dudes' night at the club. It's always ladies' night,
Yeah,
right?
there's no dude. Like, you go to the club, it's free. Then for a guy, it's like $1,000, $300, depending on what club it is.
Yeah. I've learned that lesson because before I got into finance, before I got into podcasting, I was a South Beach nightlife guy. And I remember being, I don't know, 20 years old, like rolling out with my buddies. And we were just going out to have a good time. And the door guy was like, there was 4 of us. He's like, not so fast, guys. Like, well, how much? The cover's $50. And I don't think I had $50 to my name at this point. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, we're locals. What are you talking about? They're like, 4 dudes rolling up. Are you guys buying bottles? No. It's like, you guys are kryptonite to the club. You have no money. You're not buying bottles. And it's 4 dudes. Get the out of here.
Yeah.
And at that moment, I was like ready to fist fight the door guy. But in hindsight, it makes complete sense. You don't want broke dudes just hanging out in the club, bringing no value, trying to pillage, sorry, theoretically, take advantage of the situation in the club, bringing no value. So it makes sense. But 4 hot girls roll up to the club right this way, red carpet treatment. So
It is so funny because, I have friends that live in New Jersey, and they'll message me every now and then. Oh, hey, I'm visiting Miami with my boyfriend. We want to go to the clubs. Could you let me know like who could get me in, like me and my boyfriend? And I'm like, you'll be able to get in just fine. Your boyfriend, he's gonna have to pay like probably $200-$300 to get into this club. He might even have to buy a table.
yeah.
And they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, it's
Well,
not.
here's a sign, and then I want to hear Angela. Here's a sign that if you're with a girl and she does this, keep it moving, fellas. If you roll up to a club with a girl, right? It's the 2 of you, and you're meeting some friends there, whatever it is, and the bouncer or the door guy goes, yeah, just like you said, yeah, she can come in, but you can't. The girl has 2 options. If she's like, well, no, I'm not going in without my man. I'm sorry. Like, no, I came here with him. That's one option. But I've also seen the other options where she's like, hey, I'm going to go in and I'll text you when I get to the table. And then I'll talk to the promoter and I'll see if I can get you in. And I've seen the guy being like, oh, okay, I'll stand right here. Just let me know. And I've seen this because then I'll walk into the club afterwards. Homegirls just partying, living it up. And I remember thinking like, this chick ain't even checking on the dude. And so if you're that guy, you have 2 options. You're just like, that's it. You never text that girl back. If she ever messaged you, it's just like, sorry, I don't deal with girls like you. But if you're that dude that's like, hey, did you have fun? I'm still out here. Call me later. It's like, buddy, that is simp mentality.
Yeah.
Do not be that dude. Angela, I know you have very strong opinions on how women act, men act. You just moved to Miami within the last 9 months, you said. So what have you experienced being a very attractive girl, also very opinionated girl? What are your thoughts on what Amanda's saying? What have you experienced?
Well, I don't actually go out, but I have seen a lot of people that are in Miami. And I would have to say that if you are attractive, you do have more opportunities. But the people that are offering you that opportunities are usually people you don't respect. The Simps and I don't know if I can say this, but cucks, I guess, in Miami are aggressive. And if you feed into it, sure, you can take that, but you really wouldn't get too far because the guys that women actually want, they're not entertaining that. They have a different substance or value when it comes to women, and the caliber is a lot more to get to those type of, interaction with people. And so it really depends on your quality of life, I'd have to say, when it comes to what you give and take when it comes to your looks in Miami.
So you know how they say that men are success objects, but women are beauty objects, right? We've seen that sexual market value chart of what women are looking for in a man, and it's money, resources, status, looks, age. It's like a kind of a equally distributed distribution of what women are looking for in a man, right? Whereas in a man, it's heavily weighted on looks. It's like 80% just for looks, and then resources, game, personality, all just kind of is like 20%. It's filled in. So do you think it's unfair that prettier women get more access to better things, whereas uglier women are left out in the cold? Is that fair, or is that just human nature? What do you think?
I think it's human nature. I haven't met one person that was unattractive that couldn't be attractive. I think there's just a lot of the victim mentality of thinking like, oh, I can't help that I'm fat, or I can't help this. But everyone that I've ever dealt with, because a relationship coach, like I deal with everyone that looks like anyone. And most people that seek help are not attractive, I'm gonna be really honest. And
You deal with mostly women or men?
it's 50-50 actually.
Okay.
And I've definitely noticed a lot of people that claim to be unattractive, with the progress that they've made, they've become attractive, whether it's physically or emotionally or intellectually. So there's definitely ways to be more attractive than what people think that they're set with. So I don't know if I answered your question, but
Yeah, no.
okay.
So what do you recommend to women who aren't just looking their best or feeling their best? What do you tell them?
Well, first off, physically, because men do like what they see and women like what they hear. And if your first thing showing up to a job interview and you look like shit and you claim that you can't fix that, that's just excuses.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you, where it's like you said, women like what they hear, men like what
Yeah.
they see. I say this all the time. That's why, men fall in love with their eyes, women fall in love with their ears.
Yeah.
Whereas like we all lie, or we all kind of embellish the truth. Whereas men will say like, oh, I drive this, I do this, I got all this going on, I've traveled here, I know him. They'll kind of lie about or embellish what they got going on. Whereas women, it's the old like Chris Rock thing, is like, you ain't that tall, like you're wearing high heels, like your titties ain't that big, like you wear push-up bra, like your hair ain't that long, you're wearing extensions or whatever.
They got so many tricks. Why
Yeah.
are there ugly women walking around? Like with all the tricks they have at their disposal, can you fix most of those things?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
but it's the culture that we're in now, like social media. I would have to say there's so many communities that pretty much validate your shitty experiences, and so you feel like you don't have to improve.
Yes.
But deep down, when you go home and you cry on your pillow, damn, if only if I was 20 pounds lighter, I could have gotten in that club.
Yeah.
So I think that you have your girls that are around you that will pretty much hype you up and tell you that you're empowered, you're okay, but she's texting that guy after she told you she would never text him, so you're going off of the word value that she's going to do right. It's just a shit pile of just excuses.
Angela, you just opened up a can of worms for me. So you said that the women around you will kind of hype you up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And kind of
It's
just
normal.
like feed you a bowl of lies.
That's what women do. Like we lie to each other, but also if you really think about it from like a childhood experience, like with women, your father, your mother, your friends, they'll hype you up and make you feel like you're okay, you're good, even if you're being disgusting, rude, or you're being unfair. So you live at that stance for the entire life, thinking like if I just lie to myself, I would be okay. But as you get older, the consequences do come. So you can't really lie yourself into reality.
That's such an interesting point, because did you play sports in high school or college? Where'd you play?
No, not in college.
Okay.
In high school. Yeah. I didn't
Gotcha.
play
What sport?
Basketball, football.
Okay, so you played
track.
basketball. So I played basketball in high school, football in high school, football in college, basketball. One of the things I love about sports and just being around dudes is like locker room talk.
Yeah.
Dudes will just tell you what's up. It's like, yeah, bro, this girl, she want to go out with me. It's because you're a fat ass, bro.
Yeah.
It's because you're a pussy, bro.
Yeah.
Or you got no game. They will tell you straight to your face. And as a dude, you got to be like, all right, man, like, I got to get better.
Yeah.
Whereas women will be like, no, he don't deserve you,
Right.
girl. Like, I don't care that you're 50 pounds overweight. I don't care that you don't look good. Like, you're a queen. You're a 10. It's like, why do women feel like lying to other women, whereas men will fucking give you the harsh reality of life? Because men know that you need to improve. Whereas women, it's kind of okay to just be yourself without improving. Is that what your experience is?
I guess you can generalizely say that, but I would say like men logically have to think. They don't have the room to just be emotional. So, you guys are more looking for solutions. For us, we weren't designed to look for solutions.
Well,
Women were not designed to look for solutions.
Like if you go biblically or historically or just your childhood, your parents have created the life you live in. If you're married to a guy or a relationship, he leads the relationship or the life that you live in. So you don't generally deal with the reality. So you don't realize like, hey, you have to figure out solutions. I live within the means that my partner has created for me. So therefore, I really wouldn't know how tough life is moving to Miami if it wasn't for him. Does that make sense what I'm
of
saying?
course.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Brandon?
Oh, I had been a trainer for like over 20 years, right? And I just noticed that when I'm training women, it worked a lot better to encourage them. right?
Yeah.
But men, it worked a lot better to challenge them.
Wow.
Right? Like they like being challenged, thinking like a football coach or like a drill sergeant. I mean, it's almost like my nephew, he called me in the beginning of the pandemic. He was going through some shit. Some girl dumped him or something stupid, right? And he was broke, and he was talking about like as if he was alluding to being suicidal. And I was like, ugh, you sound like a bitch. This is what you need to do. You know what I'm saying? Don't call me with that stupid shit. And it sounds harsh because it was. But I think that was a wake up call for him because his mom, my sister, she had been so, he didn't grow up with his dad, and his mom was so like comforting and encouraging, but that just made him soft. And I think being challenged like that brought something out of him. And now he's like, he made like, close to $1 million last year. Went from suicide.
Because you told him he was a pussy.
Because I told him he was a fucking bitch. Yeah. He needed that. He didn't grow up with his dad.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So what can we do to, I guess, I don't know if we can do anything, but is there a better way to, like, all right, let me give you a story. So I live in Miami. Spring break is out of control in Miami, okay? And if you ever go on Ocean Drive, you see these girls straight up wearing crop tops, like what Amanda's wearing, right? But she looks good, with full on guts, just hanging out.
It's pretty bad.
And you've seen this before.
And twerking,
Just
yeah.
as if they're showing it off. Now, if my homie was wearing a medium shirt, but he was a large, I'd be like, dude, go change, right? Or I say this all the time to homies. I'm like, buddy, you're wearing cargo shorts and flip-flops. You think we're going out tonight? Go in your room right now and change. Put on some fucking jeans. Like, guys will tell it like it is. Whereas girls, how do they not say to their big friend and be like, dude, your gut is sticking out. Okay, Brenda, get your ass back in the room and change. Why don't girls tell each other that? What do you think?
I mean, I've told my friends that in the past, unless if they're like severely sensitive. My girlfriend, that's one of my best friends, actually loves that about me. I just think that a lot of people have become overly sensitive, but I think that the nice way to tell them is like, if they're like, does this look good on me? You could just tell them, I think that you would look better in something else, or it's just not that flattering, instead of being like, it looks terrible on you.
Yeah.
But
is that a
yeah.
bigger?
You
Is that
still
a
have
bigger?
to soften it though, right?
You have to soften it.
Well, I
with
think
women.
you just hit on something. Is that the famous Ben Shapiro phrase is like, facts don't care about your feelings. It's like, the reality is you don't look good in this outfit. You don't look good, period. But I don't want to hurt your feelings, so I'm going to let you go out there, gut and all.
What she said was more effective though, because it was encouraging. Oh, you would look better in this. Right?
Yeah, because women are
It
very
was encouraging.
sensitive.
Yeah.
Men, they could take things a little bit harsher, whereas women, they'll probably start crying and think like, oh my God, I look terrible.
I've had an experience like that recently. Nalia. So we're there. We were at model volleyball, and we're working. And you know how guys are. If I'm like, yo, Brandon, go do that. Yo, Joe, I need you to do this. Here's what we got going on. Hey, Nat, over there. Let's go. And lovely Natalia comes up to me, and she's like, hey, I don't like the way you just talk to me like that. And if you're a businessman and you're working, you're like, I don't have time to change my tone and my rhetoric to accommodate your feelings. But I think that is something that guys need to be cognizant of, is that women are emotional, sensitive creatures, whereas men, we're used to that. So Nat,
Yes.
lovely girl, thank you for being here. You're a sweet girl.
Encouraging, see?
But
Yes.
here you go. But
How can men better communicate with women, whether it's in the workplace, whether it's in life, whether it's out in society? What have you experienced? Like, you had to give me a little pep talk over here, which I listened. I think I'm doing better.
yes, you are.
What should men understand about communicating with women?
I mean, I think that's actually a great story. I think if you really want women to be effective and you want them to be on your team and listen to you, I think you have to communicate with them on that level where they want to do those things. When you are communicating with a woman and you're not maybe relating to how they feel and you're not hitting that emotional, connection with the female, a female will lose respect for you. Oh, you know what? Screw you. I'm done. I'm not doing this. I don't like the way he's talking to me. And then now you lost a player on your team. So it's like, if you're able to manage the way you communicate with females, you can really get them to do everything you want them to do. So I think that's very important.
It's bars.
Because at the end of the day, yeah, sure, females, they're not supposed to do what men do, but there are aspects that females do better than men, right? So like sometimes I'll give you like, actually, Sauce, move this way. You know, I like the way your face is. Actually, fix your hair this way. Like those little things, as little as they are, it matters, right?
Oh,
Because
100%.
the women, like they want their man, they want the main person or whatever they're doing to look top tier. That's like, women are very like, the tedious stuff, the little things are like, this doesn't matter. Like you'll do that, like that doesn't matter. I'm like, it matters, right? And like that little adjustment will change the way maybe the look is on your camera. So I think learning how to speak to women, if you do it correctly, you can get the women to listen to you right. And at the end of the day, you'll accomplish the goal that you want to accomplish. And I will say you are doing a very good job. And after I checked you on that, and this is not like I was rude about it. I was very, very kind, very nice. After I showed you that, like, hey, I don't like the way you talk to me, you adjusted. And from that, even the way our teamwork is, it's like, okay, he knows that I like to be spoken to this way. If he speaks to me this way, even if it's a little aggressive, I know, like, we're going to get things done. It's not offensive. Like, it's just those little things that it really just allows the women to, like, submit to you. Okay, it's fine.
Yeah.
You know? So
it's kind of like to Brandon's point is that women thrive on encouragement and, you know, energy and feelings, whereas men, they can kind of, like what Angela said, they're kind of built to deal with challenges.
yes.
Yeah.
So
if you can
what's
master
your
that-
experience? Like, how do you, I guess here's my question. Like, as a dude, like, all right, I'm an alpha dude. I'm getting shit done. I'm working. I'm out there. I'm doing everything I can. You almost have to be chameleon-like to deal with women. You have to be like, all right, bro, here's the deal, blah, 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 blah. Hey, Natalia, so I was thinking. Like, you have to literally switch it up. It's like they say men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Yes, we all here are from Earth, but we have different, basically, biology that we relate to. So other than in the gym, how do you differentiate talking to male clients, talking to female clients, or even outside of work?
Oh, good
Yeah,
question.
well, I already talked about it with clients, but as far as my my business, right? My COO, right? She's a woman and she's badass, right? But it's a little bit different the way I communicate with her with other people because it's just more effective. I'll do whatever it takes to accomplish the mission. So right, so if that means that I have to change the way I deliver a message, then that's fine, right? And it's not even just men and women. It's just different people with different personalities, right? If you've seen The Last Dance, Chicago Bulls,
Of course.
they had to do different shit with Rodman than they had with some of the other guys,
100%.
you know? And when you learn to do that, it gives you access to, you know, different, more of the talent pool, right? Because you can deal with everyone instead of, I can only talk to this type of person. But if you can expand that, then you can actually move faster because you can get the best talent from these different demographics.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you're more well versed when you learn how to communicate with different types of people, personalities. You have so much more ability up your sleeve. Like you can communicate with the awkward kid in the room. You can communicate with the funny guy in the room. You can communicate with the shy girl in the room. Like that, those are all skills and qualities that are very important to learn, especially in today's times where people are very sensitive. So if you're able to communicate with people, you're able to be firm. And I love that you're in the fitness industry because it's an industry that you have to be firm, but you also don't want to be offensive, right? But you also want to challenge them because you want them to change their life. So I think even like being in that field, you've become well versed with how to communicate with different types of people. And I think that's a very, very important skill to learn in business and life. And even when you have kids, right? You don't know what your kids are going to be like, who's going to be more sensitive, who's doing
100%.
what. So I think that quality is super key when it comes to like life.
So here's my final point. So we'll move on to the next one. So what's going on in my head right now is, okay, on one hand, being maybe chameleon-like, being flexible, understanding your audience. And on the other end, it's like, all right, you know, fake it till you make it. Like, you know, being fake and just kind of like, oh yeah, you know, like that.
Is
like
it fake
Dave
though? Like, you have that.
Like, so I guess my question, it's more of an open-ended question, is like, if you're chameleon-like and you're kind of adapting your personality to every other else's personality, is that a good quality or is that a bad quality at the end of the day? Do you see what I'm saying here?
I would say like in that regards, like you're not necessarily, you're looking at the end game here. Is really like, what's your end game? So I mean, it's lose the battle to win the war. If you're really
Machiavelli over here, just outthinking us all, playing chess and playing checkers. Go ahead, Angela.
I mean, you really can sit there and say like, am I losing my integrity and my respect by having to stoop down to their level, or this is just what they need right now to get me what I need in the long haul? So I mean, you could sit on that and complain about like, I shouldn't have to stoop down to the level, but then you wouldn't have any employees or any friends or any people around you. And I mean, like for example, the salon industry, like you have people of all caliber in there, and most of the time it's women. But the men that do work in there, I have to understand these are men working in a female-dominated like area. So I have to speak to them with respect, but also they have to learn how to be in touch with women. It's a women's environment.
Yep.
You know, so if I'm gonna disrespect them, I'm not gonna have any employees. If I disrespect the women, they're super sensitive because they think they're their own employee. They're all 1099s. They could go anywhere. So it's like you really have to ask yourself, all right, I could sit on my respect and be like, I don't fucking need you guys, and end around you working for your damn stuff. You have to work harder or smarter which one you want to work in. And I think people don't think about that because you're so hell bent on respect. And I'm like, well, your life is a disrespect itself. So you really just think about what your complaints are.
It's just different tools. Different tools, like a toolbox. You got different tools for different jobs.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to use a hammer. Sometimes it's a screwdriver.
Exactly.
Sometimes it's one of, I don't even know. That's all the tools I know. I'm a hire handyman to do my shit. Some sort of knife thing. That ain't my deal.
The knife thing. You keep that next to the hammer.
Keep
the knife next to my bed, though.
Yes.
Very good topic right there. Thank you, guys. All right, so let's talk a little bit of money right quick, but not even so much money advice, how women and money and men all intersect. You know, this is where finance meets romance, so I feel like this clip encapsulates that. So this clip is regarding, is my money our money, or is it actually my money? So our friend Joey's going to pull up this clip, hit the volume,
authority
and go
over
from
a
there.
woman. A woman is not his property.
So start it over again, Joe, if you don't mind.
Authority over his man,
just
over
refresh
her
it.
man.
Just refresh, Joe.
Because he is not
Top
her
left.
property.
If you were making 100K a year, how much would you expect your man to make? What
Equal or more.
do you think about this statement? My money is our money, her money is hers.
I agree. Our money is our money, but her money is her money, right? She's earning for herself. But like, oh fuck, no.
You expect a man to protect and provide for you.
Yes.
If a man is expected to provide and protect, shouldn't he have some form of authority over his woman?
No, not at all.
Why?
Our relationship is 50-50.
But it's not 50-50 if his money is our money and your money is yours.
A man cannot claim authority over a woman. A woman is not his property. A woman cannot claim authority over her man, because he is not her property.
If you were making 100K
Play it one more time, just so I want to see the beginning
how
of
much
this
would you
clip.
expect your man to make?
Equal or more.
What do you think about this statement? My money is our money, her money is hers.
I agree. Our money is our money, but her money is her money, right? She's earning for herself. But like, oh fuck, no.
This is making my brain hurt.
Yeah, so it's making all of our brains hurt because she's trying to, in real life, break down what just happened here. So basically what the premise was two things right there. That was hypergamy 101 right there. When the first question is like, if you're making 100 grand, how much you expect your man to make? Without even batting an eye, equal or more.
Yeah.
Not even a question. Women don't date down financially in the bigger context of things. But then when he said, okay, his money is our money, but your money is your money. She's like, yeah, I agree. Because her money is her money, but then his money is, and then her brain started hurting because she realized that the words that are about to come out were like, oh, this is going to make me look good. But I think that is a thing. Men were built, kind of like what you said, to be more of the provider role, where women traditionally, up until more modern feminism over the last couple decades, when they've started earning their own money, the respect, that's just sort of been human nature. You're seeing this, it's making your brain hurt. How do you do this? Your lovely girlfriend's here. Yeah. You make money. How do you do this with her? Like, reveal your situation.
I've seen a lot of like clips like that, and I know a lot of like real successful women, and it's actually difficult for them to find men, as a result, because they're so successful and they don't want to date down. Well, the pool of guys they have to pick from is like smaller, right? So it's difficult for them to find men that they like. And then I know some girls who actually ended up with guys who make less than them. And I've seen two things happen. Either the guy starts being really weird about it, or she's weird about it. Like, she doesn't respect him. She doesn't have yeah, it's weird. It's weird in that situation. For me, I mean, I don't want to brag too much, but it'd be kind of difficult to find a girl who made more money than me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's difficult to find humans. I mean, there's some. I'm sure, they exist for sure, but it's like, I don't know. That's not something I have to worry about too much.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, ladies, we talked about this at Model Volleyball. Under what circumstances would you date a guy or even marry a guy that makes less than you?
I would have to be like some sort of big influencer making model that's making like a ton of money, like a few $1 million a year. Because there are some, and like he's still making like a decent amount of money, like let's say like 200K. I don't need like a millionaire. I just want someone that's financially stable. But let's say like my career took off. I just don't want to date a bum. You know what I mean? But if we love each other and he's not a bum and he's financially stable and my career took off, then that's fine. But
what you just gave was kind of a hypothetical. Like, if you blew up and you started making all this money, I'm talking about like right now, reality. Like, what would it take for you, the amount of money you're making right now, to date someone?
You tried to evade.
Yeah, that makes significantly less. Or the answer is like, no, I wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
Okay, and why is that?
Why? Because it just wouldn't make sense. I probably wouldn't be able to like survive. Like, we need to both be making the amount that we're making in order to live here.
Would you lose respect? Would you lose sexual attraction? Is it just like, dude, you got no chance? Like, emotionally, what's going on through your head? Don't go logical here. Go emotional. Like, you come home, you're working hard, but homie's, he's working, he's doing his thing. He hasn't figured it out. What emotionally does that trigger for you?
I would still love him for who he is, but I would have to, like, if he didn't want to take initiative, I would be forced to get another job. And I've been in that position before, and that's not easy, and I do not want to repeat that again.
So is it one of those things where the more money you make, you're like kind of what Brandon said, your dating pool will shrink because you're not going to typically date down, right? So if you're making a couple $100,000 a year, you're not going to date a guy that makes $40,000 a year, even if he's the most amazing guy, right?
It's not even so much about like, I would rather date someone that's like an amazing guy, even if he made less money. It's about like survival. You know what I mean? Like, it's the fact that I'm not there and he's not there. Like, I'm not currently there where even if he were lesser than me, like, I'm not up there. You know what I mean? So it's not like we would be balanced. Like, you know what? Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
I'm doing the math in my head right now. Okay. Angela, what about you? So you're single or you're in a relationship?
I'm in a relationship.
You're in a relationship. Yeah. And how long you guys been together?
4 years now.
Okay, so that's quite a bit of time.
Yeah.
How much does money and hypergamy and what we're discussing factor into your mindset?
Well, if we were speaking for me specifically, like, I think I met him when we were both broke when we first got together, but I think what keeps us going is understanding the goal again. And I mean, with what he does, it's highs and lows, and I think you have to have the empathy to understand, like, all right, are you broke financially or are you broke mentally? Like, what's going on here? And I mean, if somebody has like a momentarily lapse of like just shit didn't go their way, their last Hail Mary didn't come through, like, you have to have that empathy for your partner. But if the mentality is just, I'm lazy, I'm a bum, life sucks, I'm defeating, and I'm striving because I don't like to quit. And for me, it's like, if I have a mentality that's stronger than yours, then you're not really leading the relationship. And I think that's really important, that if I don't respect you, you're not leading. It's not the fact that you're broke, it's the fact that your mentality is going to be the detriment of this relationship.
I love what you said right there. Are you broke financially or are you broke mentally? Because, and for all you fellas out there, at some point you're going to have to figure it out. At some point. Whether that's when you're 21, when you're 31, when you're 41, like hopefully by 41 you figured it out. But listen, things are not easy. Like, I didn't start making real money until I was in my late 20s, 27, 28. I was a broke boy running around the streets of Miami, but I was not broke mentally.
Right.
I had drive, I had ambition, I had networking skills, I had contacts. That was never a problem. I was never broke mentally, but I was broke financially. So I think that's very powerful what you said. So what's the difference in your mind? And we all understand what broke financially is, just so many money, but how do you define broke mentally? They don't have drive, they don't have ambition, they're just not that smart.
The quitter's mentality. Because I think like if you're comparing someone who's in the top 10% and you're comparing that to someone who's 21, 22, it's not fair to compare that. You know, so you're going to be broke financially, but your mentality should be like, this is my goal, this is where I'm at, this is where I want to be. And women, we don't miss that. We see that. And we cling on to that and we follow that because we want to follow your lead. So, I mean, you could be financially rich, I would say like well off, but you could be mentally stupid or broke in the, you know, the quality of your life. And there's a lot of wealthy men in Miami that are miserable. Why? Because your mentality isn't matching up with what you financially have. So all of it kind of has to go hand in hand, I'd have to say.
This is why I always say that men, for the most part, should date women younger than them. Because women and men do not mature at the same age. You can show me a 21-year-old baddie and a 21-year-old dude who's got no job, nothing going on, still in college. She's going to be getting hollered at everyone globally at this point, where it's like, dude, you're finishing up your fucking senior year of college right here. So it's not the same. So as a man, we just did an episode on this last week where a man is going to take a little bit more time to come into his own. A woman is in her own, you know, the day she graduates high school, potentially.
Her global status will be higher because she's so attractive, right? And, you know, and where his global status would be, you know, just lower. He's just starting out, right? And he's going to see that dichotomy when they go around together, you know.
And Nat, what are your thoughts on this? Because you've dated some people who make some money, not to put your stuff out there. You've also, you know, done other things. But how important is money to you at this point? Because you're doing all right. You're making some money. Is this, you know, we talk about hypergamy all the time. Women won't date down. What do you think about this?
I agree with Angela. I think it's a matter of like the person you become when you make certain amounts of money. To put like, oh, $100,000, I need someone to make, you know, $100,000, but it's like, you know, who are you? You know, you can make a lot of money and you can be, you know, dead in the brain. I've met many people like that. I've met many rich people like that. So it's like, you know, I think it's more of a matter of the person. I think what's attractive to women is also to see a man's drive, that hustle, that grind. Like, it's one thing if a guy is like, he's making average income and he's okay with it and he's comfortable with it, versus a guy who's making average income, but he's like late hours, trying to figure something out. You know, he's putting himself out there, knocking on doors. Like, you can't help but respect the hustle. So I think it's important to have money. That is important, but I think money is just like the after effects of your grind and your work. I don't think money is like, oh, you make money, you're successful, that's who I want to be with. It doesn't matter like your beliefs, your morals. That has nothing to do with it. It's the person you become as you make that certain amount of income.
I remember in that clip, he says, well, if the guy's taking care of you and providing, what level of authority does he have over you? And I get, you know, that's a trigger word. Like, what do you mean authority? Like, if I hear the authority, I'm like, what are the cops showing up here? Like, what's happening right now? But if, you know, in your situations, if you're the pretty girl that's just living with the dude, you know, and he's taking care of majority of the bills, you're living the good life, how do you interpret, like, what type of authority should a man have over his girl? And what type of, like, how submissive are you willing to be to that type of man? You kind of want to go around this way?
For me, I would say, because I have more traditional values, I would say that whoever you are with, they should have some sort of authority over you. Because if you think about when you get married, your father is the one who walks you down the aisle, who's giving you the responsibility to your partner. So it really shouldn't be a sensitive factor when you hear that, because the person that loves you actually cares about your well-being beyond just your body. So I don't really find that to be a sensitive factor when I hear that. I think that people that engage into hookup culture don't like that, because, you know, you shouldn't be sleeping with that person. They don't give a shit about you. So it really depends on who you sleep with nowadays and who you're engaged with, because when I hear that, I'm like, yeah, please have authority, because I'm tired of working and I'm tired of I'm tired of
please have authority.
Survivor mode sucks. Please be my dad. Anything. I need it. Like, a lot of girls need that.
Well, you know that there's a famous phrase that if you're willing to submit, I'll commit, right? Like, as if a woman submits to her man, he will commit to her, right? So, Amanda, you said you were in a 12-year relationship.
I was.
Okay, you're single now.
No, I'm in a relationship.
Oh, you're in a relationship.
Yeah.
Okay, congrats. So, hypothetical, you know, if he's taking care of everything, you're living the good life. But he's basically like, look, I'm the boss here. Like, I'm going to lead this relationship. Get in line. Be my girl. Support me. Be there for me. Don't give me headaches. Just make my day brighter. What would you say to that?
That's basically the kind of relationship that I'm in now, honestly. And it's great. I love it. I don't think of it as so much authority. I think of it as respect. He respects me and I respect him. And it's honestly been the most wonderful relationship that I've ever been in. He lets me do pretty much whatever I want, but there's boundaries. You know, I've never been the type of girl that first of all, I don't drink alcohol. I don't really care to go to the club or anything like that, unless if it's something that I feel like it would be good for me career-wise, like meeting certain people, networking, stuff like that. So he doesn't really have anything to worry about when it comes to me. And he's always working too. So, you know, if there's something that I feel like he might not be okay with, you know, we talk to each other about it and it's fine. And I like it that way. I don't mind it. You know, he takes good care of me and I love him.
And what type of things do you say to vocalize or even do to show your appreciation? Is it, you know, like the 5 love languages? But if he's doing all this stuff for you, other than obviously just the physical stuff, is it, how do you pour into him? How do you show gratitude for all the things that he's doing? Like, what do you do and what should be done? What should women say to their man to show that kind of gratitude and respect?
Well, I'm always telling him that I'm grateful for all the things that he does. If he's working a lot, I'll do little things for him. Like, he likes tea. I make him tea, like, while he's working. If he needs, like he doesn't drink coffee, so, like, matcha, stuff like that. If he asks you to make him a sandwich, he usually doesn't even think of food. He tends to forget to even eat sometimes. So sometimes I order him food, I make him food, stuff like that. So
you're just on the ball.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I just think of it for him. I think of the things that he doesn't think of. Laundry, clean, stuff like that. And I work, but he's the main, you know, provider. So I'll do these things in between doing my stuff.
Gotcha. So Brandon, how old are you now?
I'm 40.
40?
Yeah.
Black don't crack, y'all.
Nah, not unless you smoke it.
Okay. You look good. So
thanks.
I'm going to take a different angle with you right now. In your 20s, you weren't successful, I assume.
Nah,
right? Okay. When did you really find success? How long ago?
I mean, it was gradual. You know, I never allowed myself to be broke. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being honest with you. Like, I never allowed myself to be broke. My father killed himself in like 2007, and that was like you're in finance, so you know how 2007 was like. And it was a very difficult
before
time.
The Great Recession. Of course.
Yeah.
Sorry,
you know, because it hit small businesses first, right?
Yes.
You know, and then I had to figure out. I became the man of the family, right? So I'm 24 around that time, and you know, I was doing fine then, personal training, shit like that. But I was like, oh fuck, now I got to like take care of everyone. So I don't know, man. I worked like 12, 14 hours a day. I just wouldn't allow myself to be broke or not having money. You know, I used to wake up, train people. Then I got a job working security at the product store, so I'll train people in the morning at like 5 a.m., shower at the gym, take the subway from New York, from Harlem to Soho, work security at the product store. Then after that, I work for a moving company, my boy's moving company in the afternoon, because I wasn't fucking around out here. So I don't really know what it's like to not have money, because I just wouldn't allow it. Like, it's unacceptable to me. So
now that you've reached the most status you've ever been in financially, I would assume, how has your relationship with women changed with this conversation of, you know, my money is our money, her money, this entire conversation? What lessons have you learned? How long you guys been together now?
About a year and a half.
Congratulations. She's like,
Gotcha.
So like, how have you adapted and grown relationship wise, and then financially, the financial component of it? Like, we were like, yeah, dude, the girl I dated when I was 24, you know, I fucked up because of this, but now this thing, here's what I've learned. Now with my girl now, this is the reason it's working well, because, like, give us those details.
I think it was more difficult when I was younger, just because I was working so hard, right? It's very difficult. You working fucking 84 hours a week, you know what I'm saying? It's difficult to maintain a relationship under those circumstances. And I think it took a toll on certain relationships, you know, for sure. But I knew her for like 2 years, before we were just friends, like for 2 years. So I kind of knew she was like, I knew that she was a good person, right? I didn't have to think about authority or, I have to tell you do this. And I already knew that we would click because we were like friends for so long. So, and I never had this adversarial relationship that a lot of guys in the red pill community seem to have with women. Like I just never experienced that the way that they talk about it, and so I can't, because I know what you guys are getting at, and when I hear like the authority shit, I never thought about shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like most girls I was with were pretty happy to be with me. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't have to do that shit. But now it's as it pertains to having money, well, it's like she didn't really like her job. She was a teacher, and I was like, well, come to Miami. You ain't got to work. It's all good.
So she's not working now?
Nah. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, she's starting her own thing now. She's starting her own business.
So
which
she's
is dope.
helping you out, or she's doing her own thing?
She's about to start her own thing, right?
Gotcha.
She's in the just got the LLC and shit. We was walking through that, but she takes care of everything domestically, or like just everything. Like my shirt was ironed before I came.
Clean.
Yeah, clean. Clothes was washed, and she was like, "Yo, to get there at this time, we got to leave at this time." And then the Uber was ready. She called it. You know what I'm saying? Like, she just really clears the path and makes shit so much easier for me. I don't have to worry about food, nothing domestic, and I can actually work harder as a result.
So you brought up, certain people in the red pill space. They kind of they have sort of a combative relationship with women. I'm not that dude either. Like,
I don't resonate with that, even though some of those guys are my
certain
boys.
women out there, like,
Yeah.
you act smart. Like, I'll let you know my 2 cents right there. But
Yeah.
most women, like, I have girlfriends, like friends, like I get along with women.
Yeah.
You've done a video that you were talking about. It was a recent video that I saw you do about like finding the supportive women. That most women will slow you down. They'll slow down your success. But the right one can help you improve your life.
Yeah.
How do you find the one that isn't a time waster, isn't leeching on, isn't basically using you, and finding one who's down for you and like, what's the phrase, like, down, ride or die?
Yeah.
Like, how do you find that?
Well, when go ahead.
Another to add on question is that what qualities do you seek in women to find? Oh, this is a woman that is gonna fit.
Not in women, Nat. In his woman.
Yeah,
His
I'm glad.
woman.
Okay. I'm glad.
She's right there.
But I'm
you
saying
trying to get me fucked up,
when
man.
you were dating.
Just gave you a bang bang.
No, but when you were dating, what qualities did you say like, oh, that's the good quality, that's quality, and then what was the qualities in her that you were like, okay, this is the one that I'm gonna choose?
Probably before her, I just didn't really give a fuck too much. It's like, yo, you hot, that's cool. I just didn't really give a fuck. If they were using me, all right, cool, I'm probably using you too. You know what I'm saying? Like, in fact, I'm probably more shallow because all I care about is how they looked. I didn't give a fuck about what they said, what they thought. I didn't give a fuck if they liked me or not. You know what I'm saying?
Do the old, okay.
Yeah, whatever.
Go on.
No, for sure.
She did what? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get it. But me and her were actually like friends. Like that was the homie, and it was just different. And we both were single at the same time, and it was like, all right, it'd probably be dope to have someone you actually like as a person, as opposed to just like dating for looks. Because that's probably all I cared about. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah. Well,
For
most
that.
men.
Yeah.
I mean, it's newsflash out there.
Yeah.
Like, men are not going to date women they're not attracted to.
No.
You see women all the time where it's like, yeah, they say this. Well, he's not the cutest, but
Women will do that,
He's
yeah.
really funny, and he's got money, and like I like how sensitive he is. Like, they'll give like excuses as to what, like, he's kind of overweight, not that good looking, but like they'll do that. No dude is like, well, my girl's not that attractive,
But she's
and
funny and she's nice.
really hilarious. Everyone's like, yeah, I got
She's ambitious.
You can take your funny fat girlfriend if I can keep it moving, homie. Yeah, but that's the difference between men and women. Last question for you, Brandon, on this topic.
Yeah.
We're gonna piss off some Biggie fans out there.
Okay.
Biggie and Puff did their hit, "Mo Money, Mo Problems." And you say quite the opposite. You're basically saying, listen, more money, less problems.
Yeah.
I actually agree with you. I'm not trying to make some like East Coast, West Coast, Tupac beef out here.
I don't want no beef
But
with
I
Diddy,
think that
man.
more money
Yeah.
actually enhances your life, doesn't basically limit your life.
Are the people
Why do you disagree with Biggie?
That was just a good. I think they were just making a song. I got a lot of respect for Puff. He reposted me on Instagram not long ago.
That's
So
sick.
shout out to Puff, man. And anyway, no, we can prove this, right? First of all, in the Bible, Ecclesiastes 10:19, they said,
Everybody hold hands for this segment
let's go
right
ahead.
now.
Let's go.
Ecclesiastes.
Ecclesiastes 10:19. The Lord said that food was made for laughter. Drink makes for merry, but money solves all things. Can I get a witness? Someone in the congregation.
brother.
Yeah. And that's the Old Testament. I ain't got to tell you. You know what I'm saying?
That's the old school shit.
Yeah, that's the old shit before they
That's the
remixed it.
OG Christian.
Come on, man.
Jews out here.
I know.
Yeah.
I know what's up. And that's in the Bible, right?
Yeah.
So I ain't trying to argue. So anyone who disagrees with money solves your problems is arguing with God.
Yeah.
But furthermore, there was a study done by Stanford University that, people in the top 1% live 15 years longer on average and are healthier
Yeah.
throughout that time. So they have longer, more healthier years, right? And then they say, people want to say that money won't make you happy, right? And I understand why they would make that argument. However, there was a study that came out of University of Philadelphia where they said that even past, that $75,000 threshold that a lot of people were referencing,
Yeah.
it was updated, that study. They
Yeah, they
said,
did.
no, you're significantly happier the more money you make.
Yes.
Right? And then if you want to talk about relationships, right, the census data shows that after $600,000 a year, you're half as likely to get divorced, right? Divorce rates are about 50%, right? But if you're above $600,000 a year, they go down to 25%. You know what I'm saying? They ain't trying to lead the ballers. You know what I'm saying? and then, there was a study in Georgetown University, right? That showed that the children of financially successful people, I think the quote was, incompetent children from lower income families. No, I'm sorry, incompetent children from upper income families have greater outcomes in life than even brilliant students from lower income families, right? So we're talking about, we covered health, we covered happiness, we covered children, we covered love. Money improved all those things, just like the Bible said. Money solves all things. Right there, Ecclesiastes 10:19. And
Yeah, go ahead.
I can go on and on about this, right? But the people who say that money has more problems, they just, I'm happy for them because they haven't experienced what it's like to really suffer, right? If I had enough money, my dad would be alive. Or seriously, there's an amount of money that I could have bailed him out of any issues he had, helped him get some therapy or whatever it was going on. My therapist told me that I shouldn't think like that. But that bitch is broke, man. She can't be out here listening to broke people.
That's so funny, dude.
But that's the truth, though, right?
I'll tell you my therapist.
That is so valid.
Yeah.
Can I tell you, people are so willing to go do therapy, and I think it's, if you feel like you need to do it, you're more than welcome to do it. You should do it. But you also have to be mindful of who you're getting therapy from.
Yeah.
Who's giving you this advice? Is this person even living the life you want to live?
Come on, man.
I think Pat had told a story about he had went to a therapist with at a point in his life, and then he left because the therapist was speaking out of place of what worked for them, not what's going to work for him and his situation. So I think that's super, super crucial. And I love that you said that as kind of outlandish as it was, because it's so true. So just be mindful of who you're getting therapy from and taking advice from, because they'll lead you into the opposite direction if you're not careful doing
That's a
it.
fact.
Yeah, I'll say one thing. The whole money doesn't buy happiness. Money can't buy happiness. The famous line from, if you ever seen Boiler Room with Ben Affleck, and he goes, "They say money can't buy happiness. Look at the smile on my face, ear to ear, motherfucker."
Yeah.
And it is true, but it all depends what you're doing with the money. So, to use Biggie and Diddy as an example, where are you spending the money, and where's your money going?
Yeah.
Because there used to be a phrase that used to be famous back in the day. It was, "He who dies with the most toys wins." You ever heard that before? Because that means all right, you're getting a house, you're getting a car, you're getting a boat, you're getting this, you're getting that, and that leads to more debt, more stress, more headaches. so I'm sort of like, I call myself like a millionaire minimalist. It's like I just stack cash, I invest, and I just like hang out with my buddies and like stay in the same white fucking shirt. Like it's not a big deal. But it is true that, especially in that world, the more money you have, the more people start asking you for stuff, the more people with their hands out, and you just kind of have to cut that off. But it's one of those things where when you're broke, you're day to day, right? You're week to week. When you have some money, you're now check to check.
Yeah.
Okay? The biggest difference in my life when I went from having nothing to now having something, I'm no longer day to day. I'm no longer week to week. I'm no longer month to month. I'm not even year to year. I'm thinking 3 years from now, 5 years from now, where do I want to be? And that's what money can do for you. It gets you out of the rat race where you're not worried about how am I going to make rent this month? How am I going to pay my credit card this month? I got to buy my girl a gift for her birthday. Oh shit, I don't have that much money. It's like, I'm already 3 years ahead of time.
If I could
and that's
add
what
on-
I think money. Go ahead.
If I could add on to that, I would say like that's exactly the key to where like if you're still stuck at ugly, that's the problem. You got to focus on that first to get to money.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. It's like I would say money is it's a privilege, but happiness you could buy, but fulfillment you have to earn. And you could buy a lot of things with money, but if you like you said you don't know what to do with the money, you're gonna be miserable. You're gonna be broke. You're gonna be like MC Hammer. You're gonna be lost with everything and lose everything in 2 seconds. And same thing with beauty. I mean, if you don't have anything behind that, any dents behind that, like you're screwed.
Yeah, good luck.
I would take it further, right? Like they say money won't buy you happiness. I think nothing should make you happy or make you sad, right? You got to be in control of your own emotions. I feel like that's weakness, right? Like if you were, when I was still trying to make it and I was hustling, I didn't have a whole bunch of money, I was still happy. I still enjoyed life working for the moving company, right? I was still doing shit. And I'm not happier now because that wasn't the goal, right? Happiness and success are two different subjects, and you shouldn't even lump them together. You get what I'm saying? You can be happy poor. I mean, there's some challenges that, after a certain level, right? You know, but nothing should make you happy or make you sad. You should be in charge of your own emotions, because emotions are nothing but, neurological chemicals going off in your brain. It's literally all in your head. You know what I'm saying? So you got to learn how to control them instead of them controlling you. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
It's weakness to allow money to make you happy or sad.
Right. But I think there's also power in your emotions as well. I think with certain emotions, if you get to a place where, you're in a really bad space, like, for example, like a bad breakup, either it's a slingshot into making themselves completely better, or it's going to take them downhill as well. So I think that, like you said, that being in control of your emotion, that is the key.
That's the key.
That is the key of how you want to navigate your life. So that's really, really a
Stoicism,
great point.
my friend.
Yeah, the more
Serenity now. Very cool. Very cool. Is there anything that you want to address right now before we move on to the next topic? Is there anything you got to get to?
No, I think we can keep it going. Thank you all for joining us and watching the SOSCAST today. We appreciate you all. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, do all the amazing things, because like Sauce says, if you don't, your mom's a hoe.
That's a fact.
And Nat's managing the chat. We're going to be addressing your super chats. We will be answering your questions, reading your comments. Nat's managing that.
Yes.
This is probably going to be our more controversial topic of the day. We're going to talk about what's going on with this transgender situation, especially in sports, because we've got some models here, we got some athletes here, and there's a lot of things kind of that's trending right now. And there's obviously an ongoing debate of trans women, biological men, competing, winning, and dominating in women's sports. So there's countless examples. I actually went down a laundry list of situations that biological men, trans women, see here, he, she, they, them, I can't keep up, but of winning women's sports competitions. But here's some more recent stories making headlines, and then we'll kind of get everyone's feedback after I go there. So probably the most famous example of this was the Leah Thomas situation, where she won a swimming meet. If you could punch in on that, Joe, do you know how to punch in?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if this isn't the most stark example of first, second, and third, it's kind of glaring. Like, if you just look at it, I don't know how tall that person is on the left of the screen, but I'm willing to bet they can play in the NBA. Okay, I'm trying to be very careful with my words. And now they're getting into it. Here's an article that Riley Gaines, who has basically become sort of the poster child for basically speaking out against trans women competing in sports. There's an article that we have that we can reference. There's Riley Gaines. She's basically calling out Leah Thomas. She competed in an event against her, and I guess they tied, but the tie went to the person with a dick. I don't know. And she ended up not winning. It's a whole host of situations.
So this guy couldn't even beat the girl? I mean, sorry, not the guy.
It's tough to figure it out. No,
couldn't even beat
he ended
the
up
girl.
tying, I guess. I don't know, but she's speaking out. That's a whole nother thing. A couple more stories here. Then you have another story. This is all recent stories. Obviously, Leah Thomas was last year. This is now within the last month. Brianna Gill, a transgender golfer, sparked social media outrage after winning the women's Australian golf tournament. This was in March, I believe, so within the last month. That's her. We could punch in on those biceps. She's doing her thing. She was formerly a man. What's that? Joey's liking that Zoom. So that's been sparking some outrage. He won the women's tournament. Cool. Then you have another story. Trans cycling champion. The name is Tiffany Thomas. That's an image of him working out. Just that's the winner of the latest, I think it was the New York cycling competition, whatever, the marathon of bikes, whatever it was. And then if we can go to that article, the woman who came in second, I believe, Hannah Arensma, she retired because it has become increasing, her words, because it has become increasingly discouraging to train so hard just to lose to a man with an unfair advantage. Then Thomas replied, we can go to that quote by Megyn Kelly if you can, that tweet by Megyn Kelly. Thomas replied, that's the woman we just saw working out. Let's punch in on her and her face and her winning. So scroll up a little bit. That's him winning the competition. Transgender cyclist wins New York City women's race days after the rider quits in anger at the title loss. The woman we just discussed. Thomas, which is the lady that the trans person that won. You see how I'm getting hung up on all these things. She basically responded by saying, hey, listen, inclusion policies are a work in progress and that transgender people deserve respect. Here's my thoughts on that, and we'll open it up. Nobody is saying that transgender people don't deserve respect.
Yep.
As a person. Nobody's saying that. Nobody's transphobic. Mm-hmm. What you don't necessarily get respect is as an athlete, okay, competing against women. So sports, as you know, is a true meritocracy. Let the best, let the best win. Let the best man or woman win, right, as they say. But I'll tell you, you'll get more respect. You'll get more respect if you're competing against men and you beat them. Then it's like, yo, respect. I don't care what you got underneath your pants. Mm-hmm. You just beat the dudes. Yeah. All good. But if you're a dude and you compete, like, look at Brandon right here. If Brandon was like, yo, we're going to do a powerlifting competition or a cycling competition. Brandon, just flex for a second. So just a little bit. Yes. And you're competing against Amanda. Yes. You're competing against...
What's unfair about this?
Yes. What's unfair about this? So you're competing against the ladies on this panel right now. You're competing against Amanda. You're competing against Angela. You're competing against Natalia. How do you think Brandon would do against these ladies in an athletic competition? So it's one of those things where it's like, look at the size of Brandon and look at the size of the ladies. I don't think it's like, we're not disrespecting trans people. We're like, Brandon should be competing against Chuck, Larry, Mike, and Rick, okay? Not the three ladies on this panel. And I think that's what people are basically being like, this is kind of freaking weird. A couple more things. Megyn Kelly spoke out about this. Read this quote about Megyn Kelly about the cyclist, Tiffany Thomas. Go to that quote, that tweet by Megyn Kelly. Joe, you just had that up. So if you can scroll to the top, Megyn Kelly basically says, I'm begging, like she's MadCon, begging any college male tennis player to put an end to this farce by declaring yourself trans and playing in easily winning women's pro tennis tournaments. All it will take is one biological man to win women's Wimbledon, French Open for the disgrace to end. Now, what I've always said is, listen, where this is really going to kind of reach a tipping point isn't so much in cycling or in tennis or in volleyball. It's going to be when it's some sort of combat sport, okay? When a trans woman, biological man, enters a ring with a woman, imagine Brandon entering a ring with Angela, okay? And next thing you know, he knocks her the hell out, rips her limbs off, starts playing the fucking drums with her limbs on top of her head, like on some fucking alpha shit, where people are gonna be like, holy shit, maybe biological men shouldn't be competing with women. I don't know. What do any of you ladies want to compete with Brandon in any sort of sport?
Absolutely not.
Okay,
I'm good.
Go ahead, Amanda.
This is an extremely sensitive subject to me. My 12-year relationship ended. I was engaged, and he ended up being gay, and I didn't even know. This is
Wow.
actually my first time speaking about it publicly.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. So I'm not homophobic. I'm not transphobic at all. If you want to be whatever you want to be, that's completely fine. If you want to love whoever you want to love, that's completely fine. But if you're going to compete against me in a race or in some sort of like physical competition, biologically, I'm not going to be able to compete against you. Your body structure is way stronger than me. It's just not.
I mean, just look at the
Physically,
screen right now.
it's not physically
it's like
possible.
The picture says 1,000 words.
I would have to
It's
take
like, you know what? You know
so
what?
much steroids.
I don't believe you, Amanda. I want you two to fight right now. Let's figure it out.
Arm wrestle right now.
Totally kidding.
The
Anyway, you're
amount of
being vulnerable. Go ahead.
steroids,
Yeah.
the amount of steroids I would have to take, and I still probably would not be able to beat him. It does not make sense. I don't even know what the solution to that would be, because even if they did some sort of like transgender team, they would still be mixed, and it would still just not be fair in a sense. I just think that they need to be with their biological group. Even if you identify as a woman, as a man, you should be with the men. It's fine. If you are a woman, that's fine, but you should be competing with the men, because that is what your body structure is like. And to compete against women, you're going to win.
Yeah.
I think they should have their own realm
Yeah,
of
I was
competition.
just gonna
I
say
say,
that.
let them fight. Go ahead, make some moves.
Biological men, biological women.
Like, yeah.
And I think the problem is that everyone's feeding them way too much energy, like supply and demand. Quit supplying them all this damn energy. Quit making these stupid articles. Like, no offense to anybody, but I just think it's ridiculous that you're fighting so hard in a place where it's not really natural. This when you're fighting severely. I mean, I just think it's crazy that people don't see that, but maybe that's what keeps the world going round. I don't know what's the theory behind that, but I just think make your own community, rule your own world. Why are you so hell bent on being in our world? I don't get it.
Yes.
Respectfully.
Yes.
I think it's one of those things where, back to this comment, like, hey, listen, we deserve respect. And nobody's here is hating on trans.
No.
If you were just a trans person walking down the street, all good.
Yeah.
Do your thing. But when you start competing against women,
Can you imagine
and
wrestling?
taking titles away from women and championships away from women and accolades away from women, it's like, as a dude, I'm upset. But you know who should be the most upset is you women.
Yeah.
Okay?
Boxing.
Yeah. Imagine
Now
boxing.
took her boyfriend.
Literally.
Now they taking it. No, I'm joking.
So, but you never see, Joe, you can show this, that image. You only see men transitioning to women and beating women.
Right.
You never see, here it is. I wonder why there are no men transitioning. I wonder why there are no women transitioning to men and trying to compete in men's sports. So if you, right, Amanda, wanted to turn into a man and take all the steroids or testosterone or whatever it is
lose.
and try to compete with Brandon and beat Brandon, God bless you, baby.
Right?
Okay, best of luck. But you never see those stories. And I'm sure some troll out there is going to be like, no, there was this one guy in the Philippines that it was in 2014 and it happened and it was a ping pong match. Like, you're going to show me some ridiculous story. But there's story after story after story after story of men joining women's sports and basically dominating women.
Yeah.
So I actually have a buddy, Joey, see if you can find that clip of Zuby. He's been on the show multiple times. He's a rapper. He's from the UK, Nigeria, Dubai. He's in the States. Hell of a guy, smart guy. He's a dude. He identified as a woman right before a powerlifting competition and broke the women's world record for powerlifting. Let's play that clip real quick.
Well, he didn't even dress up or nothing.
No, he's that dude. That's it. So he says, so watch me destroy the British women's deadlift record without trying. P.S. I identified as a woman whilst lifting the weight. Don't be a bigot. LOL. So there he is. It'd be literally, like Brandon, the equivalent of you right now being a Brandon Carter, King Keto, doing his thing. You're a man, and there's the competition right there. You get off the stage. You're like, by the way, I'm identifying as a woman right now, and you just fucking break the record. All of us would be like, dude, that is so absurd.
Yeah.
Right? Well, hold on, you're being a bigot. He's identifying as a woman. It's such a slippery slope that it's like anyone with just logic, it just doesn't resonate. And men shouldn't be competing against women. By the way, you know who's one of the more vocal advocates about this? Is the greatest female tennis player of all time,
Yes.
Serena Williams. Did you ever hear what she had to say about this?
No.
Let's roll that clip.
He was been joking about myself and him playing a match, and I'm like, Andy, seriously, like, are you kidding me? Because for me, tennis and men's tennis and women's tennis are completely almost two separate sports. So I'm like, if I were to play Andy Murray, I would lose 6-0, 6-0 in 5 to 6 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, because it's true. It's true.
Honestly,
It's a completely different sport. The men are a lot faster, and they serve harder, they hit harder. It's just a different game, and I love to play women's tennis, and I only want to play girls because I don't want to be embarrassed. I would not do the tour. I wouldn't do Billie Jean any justice. So Andy, stop it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let you kill me. Andy Murray.
So by the way, this is all an ongoing conversation these days. I think the Leah Thomas situation. If we could show that image one more time, it's such a stark example of a 6'10" person. If you could show that, it's such a glaring example where you're like, all right, this is just ridiculous at this point, okay? Whereas the Serena Williams clip, that was like 5 years ago, but nobody brought it up. It wasn't a big deal. It was kind of like tongue in cheek. She's basically saying this is when Andy Murray, I think he's a British tennis player, I think he was #1 in the world at that time. She's basically saying, listen, I don't want any of that smoke.
Yeah.
I'm the greatest female tennis player of all time, and I would straight up lose 6-0, 6-0, 6-0. And those are her words. And she's the best of the best. So it's one of those things where, dude, I got gay friends, I got black friends, I got white friends, I got Jewish friends, I got Muslim friends, I got up, down, left. I don't hate on anybody. But, when I was a comedian, when I did stand-up comedy, I said it's not racist if you make fun of everybody equally. And this is one of those situations where I'm just making fun of everyone equally. This does not make sense to me. How do you ladies feel about this? Like, do you have any, is it outrage? Is it ridiculous? Is it just farce? Like, emotionally, when you see these types of situations, how does it make you feel?
I mean, I think it's just, again, crazy. I mean, was it Jeffree Star's, like, the original OG? If he identifies as a man, I don't see why anyone against that, like, is fighting that. Like, he's literally saying that's ridiculous.
Yes,
And,
I saw that.
And
So Jeffree Star is saying it.
yeah,
ridiculous.
he identifies as a man, and he, wears makeup. He looks somewhat like a woman from time to time, but he speaks like a guy. He doesn't give two shits because he understands this is something that he feels inside.
Yes.
He's not forcing it on you. My thing is, I don't care if you want to identify as purple, green, black, furry. I don't care. I don't have to address you as that.
Right.
If that's what makes you feel good, cool. Good for
Yes.
you. Go to someone else that will address you that, but I won't. What is your name? Andy, I'm calling you Andy. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and I think you bring up Jeffree Star. One of the more vocal advocates is Caitlyn Jenner, formerly Bruce Jenner, won the 1976 decathlon, greatest athlete in America at the time. Just like we all know what ended up happening with him, her, Bruce, Caitlyn.
Yeah.
I've spent a lot of time with them, and when I used to do the whole Kardashian thing, that's a whole nother story. But she's even basically saying like, this is out of pocket. This is getting just absurd. And if we can't call out stuff that just doesn't make sense, where are we as a society, right? I got one last clip. I want you guys to respond to this. South Park, sometimes it just takes complete satire and cartoonish, basically breakdowns to basically explain the situation at hand. Let's play that South Park clip. Volume.
I think that's back there.
Hit pause.
Hold on, we're gonna.
We got volume?
In a second, yeah. Okay.
Ready?
Go ahead.
Strong woman. Miss Woman, do you feel ready?
Oh yeah, I'm ready, David. There are just so many amazing women athletes out here today. It makes me so proud.
Now, this is the first year that a trans woman is in the competition. How do you feel about that?
Amazing. I feel honored to be a part of history. I have a lot of incredible trans friends who are athletes, and so we're all inspired. This woman's competing.
Yeah. I mean, if there isn't a glaring example of the ridiculousness this has become, this is why a lot of people, especially out there in, right-wing world, are like, we're living in a fucking clown world. We're living in a clown world. Macho Man Randy Savage. So if you're familiar with, WWF wrestling from back in the day, oh yeah, Macho Man identifies as a woman and pummels Heather, who ends up being. And like I said, if it's tennis, okay. If it's some cycling event, okay. Volleyball, okay. But when it turns into wrestling, boxing, some sort of combat sport, and some woman gets a concussion, God forbid, ends up with a brain hemorrhage, dying. People die in sports like this. It's like at some point some rules are gonna have to change. Final thoughts, Amanda.
It's just too much. It doesn't make sense. Can you imagine you punching me in boxing?
Listen,
You would kill me.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I don't know. Sorry.
No, you're good.
I don't know if you guys seen the Candace Owens when she was talking about the race dysmorphia and all that stuff. There's people that are mixed, and they could really say, I could identify as white or black. I don't really get to double dutch on that, but because you feel like you are a man or woman, you get to double dutch on what you feel like. And I think it's just the irony in that situation. So that's why I stay out of the political talks when it comes to that heavily. Because we could fight your word against my word all day long. But can we really prove biology? We can, and your word is not. It's valid. We can't validate that, so it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of those situations where, listen, we talk about finance, romance, relationships, intersexual dynamics, but we also talk about trending topics, and there's no bigger topic than what's going on with this stuff right now, with this Dylan Mulvaney, with Jeffree Star, with these biological men just dominating women, and. Listen, at some point, we got to speak out about this kind of stuff.
I think what Caitlyn Jenner said made a lot of sense, right? Because when Bruce was one of the greatest athletes in American history, right? And now Caitlyn's made that transition. She can speak confidently on both subjects, right? Being an athlete and being a transgender person. Yeah. And if she says it's not what's up, then I think... Personally, I yield to her,
I yield to Caitlyn Jenner. She says, quote unquote, that's not what's up.
Yeah, she has more authority on both those subjects than us.
I would like to understand. I would love to have somebody in that realm convince me why that this is okay. What in their mind do they feel no, this is right, this is how things should go? Because you look at the physical aspect of Leah Thomas and the other girls, and it's physically it doesn't even look like it works, so for you to put yourself in a category where I actually give this example today from someone at the office, you can't compete where you don't compare. And it's you're trying to compete, the example my mom gave, because sometimes when I drive, I'm a little bit of an aggressive driver sometimes. And she's like, Natalia, you're racing for these people, but it's they're in these beat up cars, and it's you're in a Lexus and they're in a car with missing doors, and you're trying to race them. And it's you don't compete where you compare, but it's you're trying to place yourself in a position where it's you want to compete, and it's you're almost like dumbing down to feel like the top dog, and it's very sad. It makes me think like your mind is at such a low level where you feel like you can't succeed where you are. You have to dumb down to succeed.
Yeah. Like
it's very sad.
If me and you get into a fight,
Yeah, I don't want that smoke.
No,
brother,
but we just get into
okay.
a fight, right?
Yeah.
But if you and her get into a fight,
Yeah.
your career's over. You going to jail. You're the worst person ever, right? And there's a reason for that. You know.
Yeah.
I wonder if
Yeah.
you identify as a woman, both of you.
Oh, then
and
he's
you fight,
canceled
right?
if he beats up Brandy Carter.
I don't know.
Identify as a woman
Right.
and beat you up.
Right? Do you
Hey,
get in trouble, or is it just
no,
two girls
it's just
fighting?
Two girls being catty.
Yeah.
Meow. Anyway, that's the clip right there. All right, we got about 20 minutes left. We're going to wrap up. I wanted to talk about this subject right here. We just talked about basically men stealing women's jobs or taking their titles. But what happens if it's not even humans that start taking your jobs? Beautiful model over here. Because AI is literally stealing women's jobs at this point. Okay, so this has to do with money, jobs, women, sexy women, models. There's a whole host of stories right here. So if you can pull up this clip, this is from what's our young lady's friend's name that works for the Daily Wire? Brett Cooper.
Oh yeah, Brett.
I believe her name is. So pull up this clip. It starts at about basically 3:45, and it's talking about fashion models went from unrealistic to inhuman, literally. So basically, Levi's, the jean company, is starting to use AI models to increase their diversity and sustainability without actually having to go hire the models. Let's get that volume up and play this clip.
Ooh.
AI. Here's a bit from Levi's press release. They said, today, Levi Strauss & Co. announced our partnership with La La Land AI, a digital fashion studio that builds customized AI-generated models. Later this year, we are planning tests of this technology using AI-generated models to supplement human models, increasing the number and our diversity of models for our products in a sustainable way. It just sounds weird. Supplementing human models. Does that not weird anybody else out? Like, this reminds me of that episode I did about the alleged baby-making machines where you can grow a baby in a pod.
All right,
Like, we're
pause
literally
that.
stripping human...
Joey, put it to 1.5 so it's not 2.0, the speed. So basically, she's just highlighting what's happening right there. But let's, sometimes they say show, don't tell. 1.5, Joe?
It was fast. That was 1.5.
Okay, that was 1.5. All right,
Yeah.
so 1.25. All right, so here is actually what AI is doing to basically use models for their campaign. That starts at 6:50, Joe.
say it's very wrong. Somebody else said, the next wave of marketing what people should look like instead of using those out of the billions already existing. Let's make what we think is the perfect black person or brown or LGBTQ, etc. Somebody else said, it took a few words and seconds for me to create all of these people using AI. None
Pause.
of these people exist. It is getting harder and harder to tell.
Pause and punch it on the people. I don't know if you can. Can you punch in on that or no, Joe?
Just zoom in.
Okay, there you go. So all those people, can you zoom in anymore or no? All those people.
No.
Okay, it's all good. All those people. There you go. All those people, gorgeous people, if you can see them on your screen, black,
Wow.
yellow, white, brown, all different shades, not real people.
Wow.
Okay, those are AI generated beautiful people. Okay, continue with the clip.
It is getting harder and harder to tell. If you want to zoom in here.
Okay, there you go.
They're all stunning. They all look real. Like, it's just crazy. And for once, guys, I actually agree with the diversity folks on all of this because this is a sham. They are throwing you people a bone. This should offend you. Corporations are showing their true colors. They don't care. They just want you to think that they care. And they preach diversity and inclusivity,
Okay.
but it's too expensive.
All right, so this is actually kind of weird. Those are people on screen, all good-looking, attractive people. They're coming for your fitness job. They're coming from your modeling job. They're coming from your hot-ass nail salon job. Used to work in the club. AI is coming for our jobs. So how, Amanda, you're a model. How worried are you that AI, they're no longer going to book you. They're not going to cast you. Just like, why do we need gorgeous Amanda over here? We'll just artificially create her. How worried are you? Is this something you're even familiar with, and does this concern you at all?
Yes, I read the article about a day or two ago. Does it concern me? Yes. Brands are going to look to this to save money on marketing. However, I don't think that it'll be very successful because a lot of just regular people that are like looking to buy, like customers, they idolize like a lot of influencers and stuff that they use, that they idolize and stuff. I'm one of them. I idolize a lot of beautiful models and influencers and people that are similar to me. And I will see them modeling Pretty Little Thing, Oh Polly. And if they don't see those models and they just see like these random AI generated things, I mean, they might still buy it, but I've been the type of person that like, sometimes I'll literally just buy something because even like, say an influencer made this brand or they're modeling it and I love how it looks on them. And if they're not seeing their favorite influencers or models wearing something that they know is like similar to like their body type or how they look, it's just not the same. And I think that will hurt brands, and they're gonna have to bring some models and influencers, even if it's not the same amount of influencers or models. I think they're gonna, maybe it's gonna be like a lesser amount, but I think they're gonna have to have real people still.
Is this something that, so you said you just read the article a
About
couple
a day or
days
two
ago?
ago, yeah.
What inspired you to read that?
It just came up on, I think it was my Facebook feed.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you have this conversation with any of your model friends being
No.
like, hey, I just heard this?
I didn't talk to
If you
her.
could go into the mind of your all the girls we met at model volleyball, you know, there was hundreds of them, all gorgeous girls. How aware are they of this, and how concerned should they be?
I actually don't think that a lot of people are aware of it, but I think that if like they would probably be concerned. Because at first I saw it and I was like, oh my God, like this is actually really scary. But then I thought about it and I was like, as a person who buys clothes, you know, a lot of the clothes that I buy, even sometimes I just see it on someone that I like, and that's why I buy it. And if they don't see someone that they like, they might not even buy it because of that. There's so many even like curvy models and influencers that like girls will like, and they'll be like, oh my God, I love this girl. It looks good on her. I need to get it.
You're right about that. What
Yeah.
you're saying is 100% right. However, you know, when I was a fitness model, and I was with an agency in New York back in the day, back when I was in my 20s, when I was young and beautiful and shit. And there was the agency would send me to these jobs. Like there was one in particular, right? It was for Cosmopolitan magazine. They gave me like a grand for the day, and it was just like the little shit in the magazines, like the little next to the articles. Like those jobs might be gone, right? You know, seriously, those jobs might be gone. Or I would do something for like stock photography, right? You know, and you get paid a few grand, boom, and you know that was really supplementing my income in my like early 20s when I was doing it as a trainer and doing that. Those jobs might be gone.
Valid
you know what
point.
you're saying as far as like buying
I
stuff.
think
but
that you're
other
right.
models,
Like,
yeah.
you know, stuff on websites and stuff, it's going to be rough, but like influencing and stuff, I think that might shoot up because then brands might have more money to give to the influencers, but like regular models and stuff, unless if it's like runway or something, they might even come out with like some sort of AI thing for that, like some
It's not might.
holographic weird thing. I
There
don't
was
know.
this happened during the pandemic. This designer, I forget whose name it was, but
I saw that.
Yeah, she did a show, and she didn't tell anybody till after that it was all AI. It was all fake. But people were watching it, and they thought it was like a real show. You know, she had to do it online because of the pandemic, but she said, none of that shit was real. Like, it was all fucking computers.
I think with all this AI stuff, I think it's good and bad. I think now is probably prime time where people's authenticity have to really shine. I think when it comes to like influencers, you know, like Amanda said, like you kind of fall in love with what the person represents, who they are, their morals, and you will purchase items based on that because you trust them from following them for so long. I do think though, like those little jobs, that is more at risk, but I think that also leads opportunity for people to kind of grow in a public eye, and like you have to really be yourself. You have to really learn to differentiate yourself in today's time because, you know, things can be so similar. You can just make it online. You can just do it this way. You can do it that way. So I think that whole process of being like an authentic influencer, an authentic person making a change in the world, those are the people who are going to win. And I think they're going to separate from like those fake influencers who are just doing like the quick things just for the likes and all that stuff. So I think authenticity right now is going to really separate all the influencers with this AI stuff. I do also think though, you know, as a business, I'm thinking business standpoint, right? If you're a business person and you're trying to save money and you're trying to market certain items, you may resort to it, right? Especially if you're in the beginning stages of your business. So I do think there are pros. I do think there are cons. I think it's a matter of like, how are we going to outsmart that realm and, you know, come out on top? So, you know, shout out to the influencers out there. Good luck.
Shout out to authentic influencer. You're an authentic influencer. Do you have any strong feelings on this?
You know, I think you took the words right out of my mouth, honestly. I want to say that the authenticity is a really big thing because relationships are a big thing. You have to build relationships with people. So, I mean, you can only really get away with it for so long. I mean, for people who don't have relationships, they probably will lean on that more. I'd have to say, like during COVID, I think a lot of people lost connections with being socializing and finding out the true them and finding that in other people because they just wanted to interact with someone or something. Yeah. But, I mean, if you really think about it, people really don't last. Like, there's a reason why men like women that are more naturally. Yeah. Just, I mean, you can get by with having fake boobs and fake asses, but at the end of the day, we kind of want authenticity. So, I mean, if you suck at your job, that's probably useful. But if you're actually really authentic, you could get further. So, competition.
To parrot Warren Buffett, he says the number one way to be recession-proof and inflation-proof is actually to just be really good at your job.
Yeah.
And if you're the best of the best, you're always going to have opportunities out there. But if you're just kind of like an average model or an average fitness guy or an average
Asian
influencer, but that, I don't know. You might be replaced.
I think you guys are a little too optimistic about that. I don't. You think in 10 years, like they won't be able to program authenticity or what we believe is authentic?
Oh, it's coming.
Yeah, I think they'll be able to do that for sure.
Yeah,
like 100%.
I don't disagree with you.
I think to an extent, though.
Well,
I think to an extent.
Okay.
Because it's one thing if you're an AI model, and then it's one thing when you meet an influencer in person, you have a personal connection.
Well, that's different.
Oh, you know, I met Amanda and she was great, and you know, there's just something about her that like I'm support her completely. Versus like online, like, oh, I love this TV show, right? I'm gonna just keep watching this show, like. I think.
How many people have met Kylie Jenner, right? But she's still a billionaire, right? You know, you don't think they'll be able to manufacture that whole experience?
Oh, I think they already are.
Yeah.
And I think it's sort of inevitable. And I think we just kind of roll with the time. So capitalists, entrepreneurs, companies, corporations, they're always going to figure out ways to innovate and help their bottom line. Whether it's globalization, whether it's outsourcing, whether it's virtual assistants. It's like they're going to figure out ways, just like these companies are doing. This is Levi's as an example. I'm sure there's going to be a million other companies that are going to implement AI to basically help their bottom line. And it's concerning, but it's the age that we live in. Technology is moving so fast these days that you have to basically make sure that your skills are constantly being updated so you don't get replaced by a freaking robot. And these robots, I got my eye on you, these robots. But unfortunately, they got their eyes on us too.
Yes.
So it's a little concerning. All right. Last story before we wrap up. We had two stories, Joe, but we're going to go right to this one, that traditional wife. So, Angela, I know that you have very strong feelings about this, so I'm sort of teeing you up for success on this one.
Okay.
So there's this whole debate about modern feminism and traditional values, and people on the right want to kind of be more traditional, conservatives. People on the left are being woke, feminist, all that. This isn't a political thing. This is more an ideological thing. But it certainly is a factor in relationships. So the days of being your traditional housewife is sort of being marginalized and frowned upon these days, especially by women. Women are making more money than ever. They're getting more education than ever. More power to you. But I feel like there's been waves of feminism. So I think we're in the middle of fourth wave feminism, but a lot of women these days are basically pushing back and saying that fifth wave feminism will be sort of a return to traditional values. So check out this clip right here of this traditional housewife.
This video is women saying, "Oh, this is such a horrible lifestyle. I would never want this for myself. I think it's disgusting that you take on this submissive role for your husband." All
Let's
these
restart
different
this video,
complaints
Joe.
toward this woman, and it's okay. Video that has people going insane on the internet with over 11 million views. While the world continues to condemn traditional wives, she's cleaning, she's cooking, making muffins, lots of food, perfume, makeup, cooking some more. She's saying, "I'll continue to live my truth." That is the video that has people going crazy A lot of the hate that she's getting on this video is women saying, oh, this is such a horrible lifestyle. I would never want this for myself. I think it's disgusting that you take on this submissive role for your husband. All these different complaints toward this woman. And it's okay that women feel that way. If it's not the role that you want in your life, then don't do it. We as women have an abundance of choices all laid out in front of us. And some of us choose to go down the career path and higher education and all these different things. Others go and choose to be trad wives. So let's watch this.
Yeah. So obviously that is sort of like a caricature of like a wife in the 50s, like Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, basically those kind of vibes. But I fully agree with I forget her name, but she's awesome. I think she's on PragerU. See if you can pull up her name real quick in the video. She's great. She's got a lot of good takes. And she's basically saying that women have options in their career. See if you can find that name, Joe. Yeah, Amala. She's awesome. And women have choices in the career. And this is why I think a question that I hear all the time is, who has it harder, men or women? And I say, well, on the surface, men have it harder. We got to work. We got to break our back. We got to bring home the bacon. We got to do all the fucking tough jobs out there, whether it's the plumber or the trash man or all the tough jobs out there. Construction workers are done by men. But if you go below the surface, I kind of think women have it harder because what I like is clarity. Women, there's so much unclarity of what women should do with their lives these days. Should you go get educated? Should you be a CEO? Should you be a boss babe? Or should you skirt, do a 180 and be a traditional wife? And I think that women have life options. Men, we do not have life options. We got one fucking job. Get out there and make money. I don't know too many dudes that are like dressing up, putting on their hair together. They're baking. If you show me a dude like that, it's like, what just happened to this guy? What's going on right there? They're what?
They're trans.
They're trans. That was guy right there. So men really don't have life options, but the more success they have in life, the more options they have with women. That's my take on that. So Angela, I know you've been pretty outspoken about how basically women need to stop competing with men. You kind of got to revert back to your feminine energy, let the masculine energy kind of do their thing. When you see a video like this that's sort of emphasizing more traditional women, do you think women are ever going to return back to, being in the kitchen, cooking and cleaning, or is the boss babe, CEO vibe taking over for good?
I think we live in like a modern society and people keep bringing this idea that we have to be entirely traditional. I think there's nuances in everything. I think it's important to have both. We do live in a modern day, and to take away and say like, I'll just go back in time like with the girl in the video and bake and clean and cook. That's something you still have to do regardless whether you're broke or poor or working or not. So that is a traditional value that everyone should have, and every man should know how to, but you should be manly enough to get a woman that wants to do it for you. So I think this idea, I was actually on a live last night and they were complaining about that. Like, just walk back in time, take back the internet. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? Yeah. Like, this is all a privilege. It's balance. Learn how to communicate, learn how to enjoy your privileges, learn how to be a boss babe or whatever. I mean, I'm a working woman. Jedediah is a working woman. Everyone's a working woman. So why should we go back to just not working? Just turn your brain into mush and watch Teletubbies all day long? Yeah. And at the end of the day, if you're in a relationship and there's no commonalities, your man comes home fighting the world, whatever the hell he's doing, and he can't talk to you about whatever the hell he's going because you're into baby food and baby TV shows, there's really nothing to connect on. And I mean, like, everyone that I look up to, like Alex and Rosie, him and his girl, they're both on a mission. They both have a commonality, they both understand, and there's a balance. So, I mean, I think people are so hell-bent on it just being black or white, which is being traditional or modern. Why? Yeah. You still have to work.
I think that it's just a matter of kind of going to that extremist so that maybe we can pull back on some of these look down upon, traditional values.
You could do all of it.
Yeah, I think you can do all of it. I think today, especially, like, you should do all of it. With, like, with AI and all this technology, like, use it to your advantage. I think when you and your significant other are, like, on a mission together, I think there's so much strength in that. Two is better than one. Yeah. You'll pick up the slack where, he lacks, and then he'll pick up the slack or lead you, where you need to be led. So I think that whole idea of like, you just have to go back, like you said, and be a housewife, and that's all you do, and you provide no value other than that. Like, that's also a very shallow and like
it's non-realistic.
It's not realistic at all. So I think that, but I do see like them showing the extreme, extreme to show like women, like, hey, listen, You know, like, let your man lead, you know, like, hey, listen, women, like, it's okay if you aren't making more money than your man. I think today's time, in order to connect with certain audiences, you have to be that extreme because people won't listen if you're not. Like, look at who's blown up over these years of, like, pandemic, those extremist people, those people who are, like, saying these bold, crazy statements. And sometimes you need to hear that to be like, oh, you're actually right. I didn't think of it that way, but you're actually right. So I think having those bold people out there saying like extreme things that may hurt some feelings is very important to have today, because with how like TikTok is influencing kids. Like, imagine if we're able to influence kids with good information. Imagine if we had a TikTok that was providing good information for kids, and then now we're getting a society that's a better society because of it. So I think having those extremists are important, but I think you also have to be realistic about yourself and like where you are in the world.
Well, you know who's very bold and a self-proclaimed extremist?
Ooh.
My friend Brandon over there.
There he is.
That's true.
Lay down the law here, bro. What are your thoughts on this?
First of all, I don't really care what anyone else wants to do with their life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's a good that women have the opportunities to go down whatever path they want. You know, and I don't think there should be any restriction. If you want to be a housewife, sex slave, concubine, whatever, you know, or if you want to be a boss babe, you know, that's cool too, man. They got the option now, whereas like 100 years ago they couldn't even vote. You know what I'm saying? So it's cool that they have the option, and I don't think that you should be shamed for either choice you make, right? And you can be, you can do whatever you want. And now here's the thing though, it's like, why are you making that decision, right? Like, let's say a woman is at home cooking and cleaning and stuff all day. Is that what she wants to do? Or is it because like the guy doesn't make enough money to have a housekeeper, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, my girl don't really, I mean, she can cook and she can clean and stuff, but we got all that shit taken care of, man. They just come through, you know? Right. My son, there was a nanny when he was born, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's, you know, so she wanted to still work, right? So it's cool. We have a nanny during the day. I'm working, she working, come back home. It's all good, instead of sending him to daycare. I think you should have enough money where you can make whatever decision you want. Because a lot of women are working because they have to. Because they, you know what I'm saying, they have to support the family, right? They need that income, or, you know what I'm saying, or maybe the husband won't let her work. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that any kind of like imposed restriction is bad. I think you should make whatever decision you want, but are you making that decision because you want to or because you have to? You know what I'm saying?
I'll tell you this. I hear what you guys are saying, and I know you're like, listen, I don't care what you do, and to an extent, yeah, it's not. I don't care what you do. But then there's a part of me that's like, I kind of do care. I tell you, and I'll tell you why. Because you're 40.
Yeah.
I'm 42. I know a lot of girls. Okay, I'm speaking to the ladies out there. I know a lot of girls who were catches beyond catches. Okay, they were the baddest girls in high school. They were the baddest girls in college. Then they did their little hoe phase thing in their 20s, and they were partying, and they moved to New York, and they were living their best life, and they're having fun. Next thing you know, they're 30. Oh, shit. Homegirl's 30 now. All right, you got a man? No, not yet. I'm still living my life. All right, cool. And now I run into these girls in Miami, and there's a big difference between Brandon 40, Adam 42, out in the club doing our thing, and Stacy out there who's still 42, out in the club. I'm like, baby, what the fuck are you still doing out here?
Yeah.
She's like, I'm just looking for my man. It's like, you should have married that guy 15 years ago or 10 years ago. And I'll tell you why that affects it, because you see the stat all the time from Morgan Stanley, what the article they did called the she economy, not the economy, but the she economy. And they basically say that, I say this quote all the time, 45% of working women by 2030, which is in 7 years, 45% of working women between the ages of 25 and 45 are going to be unmarried, single, no kids. And to me, like, that is an unfulfilling life. So now I see these girls, right? And I see you nodding your head. Now I see these girls who are my age, late 30s, early 40s, and they know what I do. And they're like, I got to tell you, I saw what you said something, and here's what I want you to know. And here's how I feel. And I'm like, all right, well, a lot of times it's not even negative.
Yeah.
They're just like, you're kind of right. I really should have, da-da-da-da-da. And my one girl, home girl, baddie of all baddies, in high school. She is now early 40s. She doesn't have a man, and she froze her eggs, and she's having a kid with herself. And to me, when you're like, oh, I don't really care what you do, to the greater situation, I guess, but for friends, for the benefit of society, for just generally caring about people, I think that women would be happier if they basically had a family and had a husband and had kids. I'm not saying you need to be marvelous Mrs. Maisel over here and fucking be cooking and cleaning like you're like my grandma in the 1950s. But it is to an extent of like when you're pursuing a career and you're getting an education, and you're striving for greatness and you're competing with men, it's like all of a sudden you become the man that you want to marry. And next thing you know, you're 42 years old, you got 3 cats, no kids, by yourself, a couple dildos, a great dildo collection. Fantastic. All right. But I feel like that's an unhappy, unfulfilling life.
But we live in New York. We know women who, we live in New York. We know women who are successful in their own right, who have a husband and kids. So, right. Like it's not, you know, binary.
Can I touch it on that?
Yeah. But hold on, real quick.
Yeah.
It's not binary, right? You know women. I don't
know that many women.
Okay.
Sure, we can, kind of give some case examples. I'm sure, right? And we can bring, but I don't know that many women that are crushing it in business, but also great mothers, great wives. Something's got to give.
It's too
I just
hard
don't think it's binary.
It's too hard to do both.
Yeah.
Like you
Imagine
asked,
if me, here I am running a financial firm, hedge fund on the side. I'm doing fucking podcasts. We're trying to go Valuetainment, but also I'm babysitting all day, every day.
Raising kids is
I'm never going to
hard.
do that.
Yeah.
What's
like,
that?
Raising kids is hard.
It's a very hard job to do. Respect, salute to the mothers that are hands-on.
Especially when you have multiple kids.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. My son's mom, she makes over 6 figures. She's doing really great, and I'm not even fucking there, right? They live in a different state, and she's doing great. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but there's
And there's a bunch of other examples too.
There's strength in a 2-parent household.
For sure, our shit didn't work for a different reason.
Correct.
Though, right?
But when you grow up in a household where you have both parents, you learn also dynamics on the roles that men and women play. And as you grow up, I think it's important that you grow up and you see that.
But we would have that if me and her got along, right? It wasn't her work that stopped us, that made us get divorced, right?
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Like we were set up to have that, right?
Right. But I think what I'm getting at is just that role of a man being present in the home as well as a woman being present in the home. You have your friend who's, God bless her, she's gonna have a baby. That's amazing. Women give birth.
Not birthing people,
no,
just women?
Women.
Oh, okay.
Just women give birth.
Right.
But then it's like, okay, well, now you're going to have this beautiful baby, but now you have all these roles you have to run by yourself. Now you don't have a male influence in the home. Now, when, of course, like, you're a dad. There's people who get divorced, and there's dad whose parents are very present in the kid's life. But my point is that when you decide to bring kids into the world, I think it's very important that they get that influence from both parents. Even if you're not in the home, like those things happen. Relationships don't work out, and sometimes a divorce is needed when the parents don't click well.
100%.
Especially because the kids see that. They're like, is this a healthy relationship? No, it's not.
Yeah.
But I think what I think is very, very important is that children get to see the dynamics of what a household looks like, right? What does my dad's role play, right? Where does he come in? Where does my mom come in? Well, I'm a female, so I would be looking at my mom as an example. What kind of man am I looking for, right? What kind of standards do I have? I think those things get very lost when, you have a 1-parent household.
I think you're right, but I think that's like we kind of veered off, right? You can have that and the woman can still work.
Yeah.
You know
right,
what I'm saying?
but when women are working, they are out of their kids' life in areas where they can be present. So, for
And then they
example,
need a
the kids are in
nanny,
fucking school
and they
all
lack
day,
both
bro.
Correct.
Like
parents.
kids are in school all day, and they
Correct.
have after school and they have sports.
Correct.
Like, what are you guys talking about?
correct. But here's the thing: then you have outside influencing raising your kids only.
Were you saying the kids shouldn't go to your school? Like after work, you pick the kids up from school.
Correct.
Like that's what my mom did. My mom, we took the bus. No, she dropped me off at school 5 in the morning, and then she got on the bus, went to work, came back, picked me up. We do homework and shit. It's all good.
Correct, but
like
but
my
you
parents
also
were
have
together.
to be mindful of, though, we're not living in that time. You have kids with phones today. right? Kids are on their phones. What's going on in school, right? As a parent today, being present in your kid's life is so
But I'm saying
important.
she was present,
No,
like right
she
when
was.
after work.
Listen, no,
You know?
listen. There was a phase in my life where I grew up where my mom was a single parent. I went through that phase, and I saw my mom grind. I commend her for that. I look up to that woman. Like, when I see single mothers, I can't help but like adore them, because I'm like, I know the role you're playing. You're playing mom, you're playing dad, you're playing carpool, you're playing nanny, you're playing cooking. You're like, there's so many things, but it's a lot on a woman. It's
Yeah,
a lot,
for sure.
You know. But here's the thing: if mom didn't have certain income, right? If she wasn't making 6 figures,
Yeah.
how would life be? It would be different.
Yeah, well,
Right?
when I grew up, my mom wasn't, right? Like, my
Correct.
parents were broke. When,
Correct.
You know, I came from South Side Chicago, right?
Yeah.
So it's you can still be present, though. Like, the kids are in school while you're at work. That's what I'm trying to say. And now, I'm not advocating for women should have to work. I'm saying it's okay to have the choice, right? Like, I personally don't like I'm glad my girlfriend don't work, because then she'll be out here trying to make decisions and shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm just joking.
You just got the side eye. Well, I think I'm gonna turn over to Angela for the last point here, but I think what Angela said was like, it's not a black and white situation.
Yeah.
Life is all about balance. If you look on one end of the extreme, it's the man's the worker, he's the provider, the woman's in the kitchen. All right, clearly we are completely past those times. There's no return to 1950s Mad Men-esque Marvelous Mrs. Maisel situation where the man works and he's bringing home all the money and the woman just stays in the kitchen all day. Those days are done. Done. But at the same time, I think we've also recognized that women, the other end of the extreme, trying to compete with men, trying to out-earn men, trying to be better than men, is a path to loneliness in a lot of cases. So it's like there needs to be some sort of balance, and it's a very nuanced conversation. And that's essentially the conversation that we're having right here. And that's essentially what you pointed out, is that it's not black and white, but women need to be aware of what's going on, but also men need to be aware of what's going on.
When
I
said I would even care, I meant I don't have a strong preference for people doing what they think is best for them. I don't have a preference on them right. I didn't want it to come off like I don't care about the outcomes of humans.
No, I didn't think that you were being like
right? You know what I'm
apathetic or
saying?
anything.
I just meant like whatever you want to do and you think is best for you.
You know what, Amanda? Fight him right now.
No,
He's just
Arm wrestle now.
I'm sorry.
Angela, final word.
I think that basically what you were saying, what I said, everything requires discipline. So, I mean, if you're always going to be in your child's life, you think you're doing a great job, but by the time they're 19, 18, they're ready to get the hell out of the house.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, yes, women shouldn't strive to be the leading person in the relationship. You think you have to be a CEO. That's going to be detrimental for you long term, but you still need to be actively working mentally, physically, some form of way.
Yes.
I'm never going to be the breadwinner. I've accepted that. I don't really care to be that, but I'm always going to be actively working to keep my brain sharp so that I can communicate with my partner and the world.
Correct.
So
there is a difference between striving to be the CEO,
Right.
boss babe, education, lawyer, top of the firm. There's that versus, I'm just a chick with a job. I gotta work.
That's
I gotta make
important. You
money.
need the balance.
That's a very, exactly.
And it's expensive nowadays for men to just raise a family alone.
Because
like you kind of need both.
It's actually, there's a stat out there. We don't have time to go into all this, but there's a stat that a divorce attorney, a female, basically said that the unhappiest women that lead to the most divorces are just the stay-at-home moms that do nothing all day.
There's no stimulation.
They're just so focused on the kids, they forget about the husband, and next thing you know, the relationship goes to shit. So that's one end of the spectrum that is not a good look for men, if that's really what, if you're that red pill dude that's like, well, a woman stays home all day, she don't do shit, she don't deserve to talk. It's like, buddy, there's going to be an ugly outcome for you at the end.
There's really no female influencer out there that it's accurately influencing work life, relationship life, like a balanced life. It's always one extreme or the other. And by the time she does know it, she's like Mel Robbins. And like no one really listens to Mel Robbins because she's older, which is fucked up. But there's nothing she's saying that doesn't apply to your life at 19 that wouldn't work for you at 30, 40, 50 years old.
By the way, last question, and then we'll get to the
Super chats.
the super chats. Thank you guys for being with us. I know, there's this kind of, I'm looking for that traditional woman. I don't want her, to be all money hungry and all that. And then it leads to like the passport bros conversation, right? Where it's like, I'm just going to import my woman from Thailand, from Colombia, from Romania, wherever.
Then she's really
With
not gonna
Dominican
work.
Republic.
Dominican Republic. Shit.
No, she's from the Upper West Side. Lower West Side.
But if you don't have your shit together, and you go out there and you just think you're just going to pluck some chick from Medellin out and you bring her back here, What are your thoughts on what will happen to that situation?
I mean, being a man is universal. Women are universal. It doesn't matter where you go. If anything, they're more traditional in other countries than they are here. And it's kind of simple. Like I think they complicate it way too much. And if you think your answer is to get a passport and go over there, you're trying to marry someone's virgin daughter. It ain't cheap getting her virginity. They expect you to be a man overall. And if you bring her here and if you say, I'll stay over there, then I think it's quite of a joke. It's actually a lot simpler here if you just work on yourself as a man, as opposed to trying to go in another culture and adapt because they expect more in another culture.
Yeah.
So I think it's a joke, but they would argue me with that. I got dragged for
Plus,
that.
you got to learn a whole nother language. You got to learn a whole other culture. I don't know.
I know
but
a guy
Spanish
who-
is working out well for you, though, player.
See.
I love that.
There was this girl I knew. She came from Colombia because she found this doctor met her out there, brought her over there, saying, I guess that's what you're talking about, the passport.
Yeah.
He brought her back, man, and I don't know, it ain't really work out for them, and she was definitely cheating on him with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that.
Yeah, but they come here.
Me.
I was like, who's definitely cheating on him with me?
Yeah,
long
but
time
That
ago.
one just
Long
went-
time ago. You were in like
That
high
just
school.
went. We got to go to commercial real quick. Brandon's about to get cut by a Puerto Rican beauty right now.
But what do they expect?
Puerto
You bring a
Rican.
girl up from a different country here. They think in that country you're like this god. Oh my god,
They
I'm from
idolize
America.
you.
And then
You don't
they
even
come
have to
here and they see
try.
all this opportunity of other men,
They're
and
like,
then
"You
things
know
like
who?
that happen.
You know good.
You know good. He's good.
Yo quiero él. Él tiene mucho dinero. Tú no tienes nada. Él tiene un grande casa. Tú tienes nada. Vaya. Wow.
And you know,
Anyway.
they would argue with you and say like, "Oh, I'll just stay over there. That's stupid to bring her over here." But then, bro, adapt the culture. Then you're no
Yes.
longer considered an American citizen. Then, just saying.
I don't know,
There
man.
it
They
is.
sound like the trans people who want to compete in women's sports, right? They trying to play an easier game. That's what it sounds like. They're trying to play an easier game.
You're trying to cut the lines. Trying to fucking.
Don't tell them that.
cut
They'll
corners
drag you
right
guys
here.
on the internet.
Anyways, guys, we are wrapping up right now. Thank you. I know that we ran a little bit late today, and I just want to give a public shout out to our production crew over here because they make this stuff happen. Jorge, Andres, the crew. Do we have any messages that we need to read today before we cut to
Yes.
commercial?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Alrighty, so we'll start off with Crypto Keeper. My question to the men on the panel today, including the men behind the camera: at what price do you feel comfortable exercising options, married or not? Want to answer that?
At what price?
Do you feel comfortable exercising options, married or not?
Are they basically saying at what price, amount of
Yes.
money you make, are you allowed to cheat on your girl?
I think
It's
that
a
whole shit
slippery
is kind of
slope. Yeah, I don't know.
Cornball.
I'm actually an
kinda stupid.
advocate of not cheating on
Me
your girl.
same.
Okay, but
you make more
finding
money.
a girl, yeah.
No, it's like a financial decision, right? Like you got to think
Save your
about
money.
how much time and effort it is to
Yeah.
try to run around fucking hoes and shit, and how much mental bandwidth you have, right? If you're running like a fucking big business, like I got fucking 30 employees and shit. It's like having 30 children,
Yeah.
you know, and I'm managing all types of shit, right? It's a big operation, and to have to manage a whole fucking harem of hoes at the same time, I don't think I could do both effectively. Maybe those guys are just smarter than me, all right? Maybe that there is that, but I know for a fact, me personally, I make significantly more money being with one woman than I would if I'm out here running around chasing
Yeah,
bitches.
it takes a
We
lot
love
of
that
time
for you.
to
Yeah.
deal with the whole starting five roster. That's
Yeah.
tough to
It's
deal
fucking
with.
retarded, bro.
Yeah, it's too much.
Sorry, I didn't mean to say retarded on here.
Then we got TRC in the chat. Shout out to you. We see you all the time. You
He's a
started
great
the live
guy.
event.
He was
Shout
here
out
the
to
other
you.
day. Respect.
Love my baby boy, Koba Travis. Happy birthday, 10 years old. I name him Koba after Joseph Stalin. Then we have Nico Blinks. Question for the guys. Thoughts on the phrase, you lose money chasing girls, but you never lose girls chasing money. I once was doing 13 to 14 hours a day like Brandon and didn't have time for a lot of girls because of it. So what's your take on you lose money chasing girls, but you never lose girls
Chase
chasing
success,
money?
not women. The more success you have, the more women will come into your life. The better you are, the more you improve, the more your game goes up, the more your status goes up. As long as you stay in shape and stop eating
Yeah.
like shit,
Yeah.
you hang out with Brandon and you'll be all right.
Yeah, you'll be fine, man. And then it's like, if you're broke, think about the girls who you can get when you're broke. You know, just really think about it. Like really broke. Like you might be able to accidentally fuck a hot chick every so often, right? But like it
Accidentally.
yeah. But
Oh, my
like,
dick just fell out. I don't know how that happened.
hey man, motherfuckers get lucky, right place, right time. but but if you focus on it, it's really like empty victories, right? If you really focused on building a financial future for you and your family, well, now you've setting up legacy, you're setting up shit for your kids, you're setting up shit that's more important, and the women will come as a result to that. Everything will come. Your whole life improves as a result.
Respect.
Awesome.
All right.
That's it for Super Chats. Thank you guys for Super Chats today. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, comment, share. Get on the
Thank you, guys.
SOSCAST channel.
All right, as you guys all know, at the end we do what is known as the happy ending, pun intended. So this is the opportunity for you guys to basically look right in the camera, say what's on your mind, drive traffic to your channels, and what people should know about what you got going on. Let's go with ladies first. Miss Angela, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here. What do you want the people to know?
I think that women and men should strive to be better and stop fighting against each other and start uniting. That is possible. So stop listening to that trash ass crap on the internet and go touch some grass.
Go touch some grass, get some ass. Do your
I knew
thing.
you were going to say that.
Yeah.
I knew
I like
you were going to
rhymes.
say that.
I like alliteration. I like
good.
rhymes. Where can they find you, Angela?
Angela Knight 2.0, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all that crazy stuff.
2.0, the better version.
Touch some grass.
Yes.
Yeah, if there's grass on the field, play ball.
Yeah.
That's what I always hear growing up.
Amanda, go ahead. What do you want people to know about what you know? Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I think that I agree with her. You can only really find fulfillment with like real relationships, not, just screwing random people and being all over the place. So yeah, you can find me at Amanda Saez official for Instagram and TikTok.
There it is.
Nice.
King Keto, the man.
I want you guys to listen to me good. Money makes all your decisions. You think you make your decisions. You'd be watching this on a different fucking device if you had unlimited resources, right? You'd be living in a different house. You'd be going to, you'd be sending your kids to a different school if you had unlimited resources. You'd live in a different house, a different fucking state, maybe. If you had unlimited resources, all your decisions are capped by the amount of money you have, right? Motherfuckers decide on what they're gonna wear based off how much money they have. You would dress different. I'm gonna help you get that money. I think my team gave y'all a link. It's a free course I come out called Baller Mindset. Show you how to get money. It doesn't matter where you are, even if you're broke, even if you haven't had any success, even if you don't have a college degree, none of that shit, right? I came from nothing, Southside Chicago, and I was able to build several multi-7-figure businesses, and I'm gonna walk you through that from start to finish with the course. And it's 100% free. And you might be thinking, why is it free? Because I'm an egomaniac. And if you can become successful and give me the credit, I feel like it helped me build like a legacy, and that's something it's difficult to buy.
That's awesome. Joe, can we make sure that we have that link below? What was the website again?
I think you guys have it. It's a special link that we make sure.
Okay, it's already in the chat.
Because
That's
the course
awesome.
is going to drop in like a few days, but you can get on the list now to make sure you get it. And you can find me on YouTube. Just search my name. You'll see it. And I'm hoping that Valuetainment can get me to 1 million today, right? I'm like 4,000.
We're about to hit 1 million today.
4,000 subscribers
Listen,
away.
if you're watching this and you have not subscribed to Brandon Carter's channel, all right, your mom's a hoe.
Oh,
she's a hoe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, for real.
I want you to hit 1 million because you were on the SOSCAST on Valuetainment. I would appreciate if you guys showed some love to Brandon, because he showed some love for you guys today.
For sure.
Nat, your final thoughts. What do you want the people to know?
Final thoughts. I love today's podcast. I think we had a great panel. I really enjoyed conversation today. It was different perspectives. I think it was nice to hear everybody from different backgrounds, weigh in on certain topics. And kind of just, kind of like what Angela said, don't fight against men. Women don't fight against men. Do better and work better. And, at the end of the day, careful what you listen to on the internet.
All right. Fully agree. I want men and women to do better, to be better, to get along better. I think we're at a place in society where blacks against white, Republicans versus Democrats, men against women. It's like, can we all get along? Remember that old famous phrase? So I fully agree with that. And you know that I agree with you better get that money. You better save that money. By the way, we're going to be doing a bunch of polls on the channel. Not you, Joe. We'll be doing a bunch of polls about what type of content do you want us to see us double down on? What type of people do you want us to bring on? We've got a new amazing booking agent out here at Valuetainment that is going to be reaching out to the biggest names in the game. So you let us know who you want us to bring on, because wait till you see who we're bringing on. We're just getting this mother freaking party started. We will see you guys tomorrow, where Nat and I are doing our own show talking about some of that trans stuff. And if you go woke, do you really go broke? We'll see you guys tomorrow back on the SOSCAST. Thank you guys for being here. We out.
Thank you.